Welcome to the GameChanger 00100 show. I'm your host, GameChanger, and this is just going to be a quick video where I go over where I do the overflow, or whatever you want to call it, from the solo TV panel. Apparently, he was shut off abruptly. Don't know why, but hey, it happens. So anybody that was over there, you should come up and say your piece on whatever happened, your thoughts on whatever happened. Okay, so Smurgo, so yeah, I seen you were there. Do you know why the panel was shut down?
You're talking about solo TV's panel?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, it was shut down because he rage quit. Basically, he blew a gasket and cut you. He first took you off, and then he started cussing and then shut down the whole stream. So yeah.
Okay, so I wasn't part of the. Okay, so he kicked me off for what? And then the whole
Because
shut down, and now it's gone.
he was doing that to me at first. So like, I was just trying to make a point to him. So like, he acted like he wanted the conversation because I guess he felt like everybody was going to side with him because he's damn Minister Jap's lapdog and shit. So Jap was like, "Oh yeah, these passport dudes is lame, so I'm gonna call them lame." So like, no, that wasn't even specifically what Jap was talking about at first because a lot of shit happened. A lot of shit transpired in the last couple hours. So basically, yeah, it's crazy. So basically, I was going back and forth with Solo for a while because I was defending the guys that go overseas and tricked, so to speak. And I was saying he was no better for, smashing fat tennis bras and shit. And he didn't want to have a conversation about it. He was like, "Y'all niggas lame, I don't want to talk to you." But he kept posting his link. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna keep coming on. So what he did was he basically did the same thing he was doing to me, is where when you have an actual argument against him and you're making a valid point, he just shuts you down.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it was. I mean, he just couldn't handle the conversation. And I was like, damn, I can't believe he did it at the GC. Like, I was like, oh man. So,
okay, so he did a deliberate one to me, and then because what happens is I listen through StreamYard. So when I was kicked out of StreamYard, I was like, I couldn't hear anybody anymore, and then I went to the show on YouTube, and I seen that it was gone. So I thought that the show was just shut down. So
no,
what happened between the kickoff of me and his, like, what was his rage?
Oh, I can't remember. I think it was like he was like calling you lame and shit. Like, I don't honestly, I don't even remember. It was some like I felt like he was bringing up a good point, and then like it just something in his, just something in his coon mind. It's just like, like he raged and spazzed like something like, yeah, he said you were being disingenuous, but I don't think that's what it was. I think you were making a good valid point, and like he couldn't like wrap his mind around what the arguments were.
Well, okay.
And people don't like the way you argue, but I get the way you argue. So like I get where you were coming from, and I guess he thought you were being sarcastic or whatever, maybe. But I don't think that was it either. I think he just didn't like what you were saying, because he was doing that shit to me earlier too. He kicked me off like constantly. So
Well, so what I was saying at the time that I was getting kicked off was that it's not a competition, because the talking points that are being said are coming from like this side. I noticed the, whatever you want to call it, the anti-passport side, like, the things that they say, you don't get any points, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This one don't count. You didn't win. You're not better. These are all phrases that allude to competition. And what I'm saying is we should not be competing with each other on the
yeah,
basis
okay.
of.
So the thing was, okay. So earlier I had said, well, you're no better. I told him he was no better for smashing Tinder brides. So earlier we had a conversation. I was like, okay, so when's the last one we fucked? And he said, oh, I smashed this girl off Tinder in 2 days. So like, okay, so you smashed a loose hoe off Tinder for free. So you had to allocate your time and attention to do that when you could have did something else. And my argument was that his ego is based around like the basic shit. Like his whole entire ego is based around fucking women for free.
Yeah.
Having game, so to speak. And he just didn't like that. And my thing, I don't value like women's like validation at all, honestly. So like that's why I have no problem doing the so-called trick or whatever, like going overseas. Like I just handle my business. Like it's like I was saying, it's just like going to the bathroom, So like, cause I have more important shit to do in my life than worry about women and all that shit. So like, but it was a biological urge. So I had to handle that. My bad if I'm rambling. But I'm just trying to get like all the points out so you can do your stream, because a lot did happen and he didn't post like the actual stream. So
So it's just gone, not posted, just deleted. And
yeah,
yes,
he
yeah.
he didn't post it. So from what you got from it, just understand. Like I'm about to hop off actually, but just understand that he was basically like, why go overseas? You're a lame if you go overseas, because you can just pay for pussy in the States if you're gonna do that. And I felt and like Jap. So from what I'm just rattling off a lot of points here, because a lot of shit did happen. So
Mhm.
excuse me for like cluttering the stream right now. But like Jap, the original stream was like some dudes were doing weird shit with Jap, and like bragging about eating out girls and shit like that. But they were like, that's like a straw man argument. So like after basically straw manning. And then for the second stream, his new stream is he was talking, just going at the passport bros in general. Did you see Jap's new stream?
Yeah, I'm going to do a response to that tomorrow. That'll be my next show.
Okay, good, cause
Yeah,
I need to go to sleep. So I'm
yeah,
looking
yeah.
forward to
No,
that.
do that. My show's gonna be tomorrow at 10:30 PST. So stay tuned
Yeah,
for that, because
I like. There's
I
no
want to
way.
unpack it. I only seen like 5-10 minutes of it, but I got the general gist of it. So
Yeah, his first this new the new video that Jap has up is a response to the first video where they flagged him. So the first video you did, we flagged him. I guess from what everybody's saying, because I stayed in the back chat after he had ended the stream, and he was just talking about how, okay, the first video that Jap did was he was addressing weird dudes that do the overseas shit. So like they're like send them sex tapes and like brag about doing like seeing the hookers and shit like that. And I'm like, okay, well that's somewhat understandable. But then the dudes flagged them. And my thing is, I can understand, even flagging off even off that basis, I can get what they're coming from, because Jap is the type of dude that does a lot of shock value shit. Like he wants to get under people's skin, and he's coming. I know, and I didn't see the original video, but I can imagine how he went about it. Even though his first video was directed towards people, I can pretty much have a hunch that if they felt strongly enough about it, that they flagged him that he was making broad generalizations about passport bros. So, and him being like one of the pillars of the Manosphere, I personally, I don't know, like he's outside of it, like personally, what I think. But a lot of dudes do see Jap as like a pillar of the Manosphere, so they felt betrayed. They felt betrayed by his calling him out for whatever reason he had, and his reason for initially calling him out might have been justified. But the way Jap goes about these things, he probably felt like he was coming for them, and like once again, this is one of these situations where black men are feeling like the community is limiting their options of exploring and getting outside of the matriarchal gynocentric system that we're trapped inside of. So that's basically a rundown of what happened. Like,
can I add something? What's going on, Smurgo? What's going on, GC? So my thing is, why is it such an issue? We've had, I'm not even talking about the sex tourism issue, like for the mere fact that black men travel, statistically we have the least amount of passports out of any race of people, race or gender. So people have been going on sex tourism for years. Like they have what they call the Mocha Fest. That's nothing but black women getting sleuzed out. You know, he's not gonna go into that about, and then he's even, it's funny because I remember Jap had a show one time saying like, if your girl goes to Essence Festival, best believe you're getting cheated on. So my thing is this, like,
I can explain this super quick. Like, okay, so the problem is black men have an ego centered around their sexual appeal and their sexual access to sex they can get. So when dudes do the sex tourism, they have to pay for sex. So basically, they assume that if you have to pay for sex, your sex appeal and your sexual and the access to sex you have isn't up to par with other black men. And the reason we have this mentality as black men, well, not us, but the reason a lot of black men have this mentality that your sexual access to women is the most pivotal, most defining masculinity trait you have, is because in the black community, black men are seen as a sexual utility to black women. So you have to optimize your sexual prowess to be viewed as a man. So if you have to pay for sex, what they view, you have to pay, quote unquote, you have to pay. They think you have to pay. It's a quote.
Can I?
Let me just do one small correction, Smurgo.
Yeah.
Black men are looked upon as a sexual utility to women. I'm going to remove the word black from that sentence.
Okay.
Everything else is spot on.
Okay. Yeah. So, black men are viewed as a sexual. That's a product of the black film matriarchy, right? Or is that just?
No, but
I think that's just what it is.
Yeah, and we perpetuate it too
and stuff like that. I think that's just how we are seen, and we've been that far too much.
Okay, well, I agree with you then. All right, so black men in general are viewed as a sexual utility. So if you can't get sex for free, quote unquote, you're seen as lesser than to other black men. Black women actually aren't really opposed to you paying for sex, believe it or not. That's weird. It's usually black dudes that push back against this shit. Black women in general will not really dog a dude for paying for sex.
They won't go hard in the paint as much as men did. Because I've even seen like Jason Black says something like, if you have to go out of the country to deal with women, you're lame. And I'm like,
yeah, that's because now another thing is, can you handle these women? Like, okay, so it's another thing. Black men feel like if you ain't putting it down good enough, or like you can't get your girl in line or whatever because you ain't putting it down good enough. Your swag ain't on point. You ain't got these intangible characteristics that just make a woman fall in line. In actuality, no black man in America has these characteristics, but it's like it's an unreachable goal that like a lot of black men put themselves to. That's like it's like carrot on a stick mentality almost. It's like you're chasing something that doesn't really exist, and it's a standard you hold all other black men to. So when a black man sees another black man traveling outside of the states to secure women or whatever, and they see that, they feel like they have to do that because you couldn't hold it up, you couldn't do your thing in the states, so you lame here in the states, you lame overseas. That's not necessarily true because it's a different culture and a different mindset and all that type of shit. But we all know that now. We know that much here.
I just want to say two things. So one is I find it ironic that out of all the men that are against men going overseas, these are men that have no children. We don't know if they don't have any relevant relationship that we know of, and they've never been married. Not they are married or they have been married. They never been married at all. These are men with no children, no stake in the game, and yet they feel the need to judge men on what they do with themselves. And I just find it fascinating. It's like in one breath, a lot of the dudes can say that are opposed to men traveling. You can say, "Oh, okay, dealing with women here like Strags this, Strag that, or bastard baby maker this, then the third." Zero's funny,
Okay,
but my thing is, why you'll say that in one breath, but then contradict yourself in another? Like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to say, okay, I feel some type of way because I feel I'm indebted to deal with black women, or I don't understand. I'm
my
lost.
bad.
Right quick. Let me give a shout out to Zero and MOT. Brothers, I apologize, but I had to get this off my chest right quick. I know that the two of you were streaming right now, and I don't know if you're done now, but I apologize. I was just curious because I had a heated exchange with somebody who I've been cool with thus far. So it kind of took me off guard, and I just want to explore this. But really, this is just going to be like a small extension of what Solo and I was talking about. But welcome anyway. I appreciate both of y'all.
Yeah. So, basically, you are indebted to black women because in the black matriarchy, you're made to serve black women only. So, you're a sexual utility to black women. So, when you explore your options outside of the United States, you're seen as betraying you're even if you're going to see other black women, you're betraying the matriarchy, the matrix, whatever you want to call it, the system that's set up for you as a black man in America. By traveling and exploring your options outside of America, you're betraying that system that you're indebted to, and by birth of being in virtue of being a black man born in America.
I want to say this too, and it's funny. We had Zero post something. I gotta admit, with Zero, he says certain things that I would only grasp like 50% right now, and then like 2 weeks later, like it would hit me like, oh shit, this is what he meant. Because he said recently, he was like, not only like the the peace leave is undefeated, but the whole concept of saying like men are now. I understand what he was saying, like when he says men are just talking about the red pill as like a trendy thing to do. It's not necessarily like they're not fully into it. It's more sort of a thing of like, oh, we're just gonna talk about it because that's what the new catchphrase is. That's like saying how about them Lakers? It's almost similar to.
Well, the interesting thing about that and what Zero, right quick, Smurgo. Interesting thing about that and what Zero was saying, because Zero talks often about conversation resets, and yeah, we did have this conversation before. For it to rear and both Solo and Minister Jap, for all I know, were silent on it. So for it to just like come out of nowhere with such passion, it's like, wait, where was this passion like the last time we covered this topic? It's and I'm scratching my head on that amongst other things. Like, wait a minute, you felt this passionate about it, but you didn't feel this passionate about it when it came up a year ago, or a year before that. That's kind of like somebody just right now raging out against Trayvon Martin. Just like wait, what the hell?
Exactly. Like that was almost 10 years ago. Yeah,
exactly. But it's like, wait, where's this newfound vigor coming from? So yeah, this seems like a conversation reset type deal. I don't really know how to classify this, but let me read these super chats. I appreciate all you brothers. So Useless Familiar says, Smurgo spitting right now. Facts, true. That brother P-Dat, appreciate you. Thanks a lot, Useless. And that brother P-Dat says, cats be mad because GC and Zero make them look stupid without ninja shit. Well, yeah, I mean, I wasn't on some hostile. I was trying to get clarification. Like,
Solo, like
aggressive. That's just
Solo snapped. Like I seen it. I was getting it at him earlier too. I don't mean to cut you off, but you did hit him. So,
well, I mean, I was defending because see, here's the thing, and for this is what's really weird about the vigor of the conversation, the tone of the conversation. And people probably don't notice, but Solo and I are cool as far as I knew, which is why I found it kind of strange when I was bitch ass before I even got on the panel. I was like, wait, this is a very touchy topic to him. And
the first thing you mentioned was the stoves, man.
Huh?
The stove thing. That's the first thing he mentioned.
Man, let me.
Oh, see, I didn't see that. See, I wasn't.
Yeah, he said. No, he said. Oh yeah, you buying stoves and shit. Like, come on.
He said that before. I mean, I wasn't there. I think I was at Melodies or something prior to this.
Can I just say this real quick?
Let me finish reading this, and I promise, Ezra. They know they got metaphorically stowed on, but mad that they didn't see it coming, like a slap in the back of the neck, out the blue. Yeah, I mean, look, I wasn't there to humiliate. I was really there to understand, because it was a lot of passion that seemed random to me. But apparently I'm the enemy because of the stove thing. Which once again, this is a conversation reset. The stove thing has been out over a year. Like,
Jesus, Jesus H Christ, man. About
that. Like why choose now? Like what's bringing this up now? Like,
well, because he knows you went overseas and bought a girl a stove. So
everybody has known that for years. He had a year to cover this, over a year to cover this. Like,
well, it's relevant again because Jap brought it up because some dudes was being weird, like some overseas dude was being weird. What I'm getting from the background, like this wasn't talked about on the stream, but it was some dudes being weird with Jap, like sending them videos of their their endeavors overseas and shit. That wasn't what the first thing was about, I don't think. But you know how Jap goes in, like, I can only imagine he wasn't very nice, even at first, to the passport bros. So, no.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, if a guy sends me, like, first of all, don't send me your sexual exploits. I don't want to see it. Like, I mean, if you want to send me a picture of a beautiful woman, I appreciate pictures of beautiful women. So, then do so. I guess. But I really don't want to keep your porn to yourself. I don't want to see your dick. Like,
I want to say this real quick.
My bad.
No, it's quite all right. I just want to say this for you in your defense, GC. I am so sick and tired of dudes bringing up stoves, and it'll be the same niggas that are on child support, that owe alimony, that owe back child support, that had a girl screw them over. They had to abort kids, had to do all this, that, type, and the third. If we're gonna look at GameChanger and the stove, we need to pull out all the receipts. We need to pull out all the receipts of what the mess ups that a lot of these niggas online made, but they don't want to call it out. I've known dudes that try to come at you, GC, and they passive aggressively mention that they had to pay for a whole house for a woman that they had to divorce in less than a decade. All right, so they'll come at GameChanger about buying a stove that's for like the price of Jordans. Meanwhile, they owe back child support and they have to give up their rights for their children that they can't even see. I'm confused as to why a stove is such an issue, but niggas will be running, have their license revoked, all types of stuff, and that you don't think like, damn, that's messed up. But a dude that's buying a stove is an issue. And then for the mere fact, you know what it was too, and it's why I really feel like a lot of dudes, they still just don't get it, or maybe they just feel it's a hive-minded mentality. Where it was one dude was saying, "Why couldn't you have bought it for a black woman in America?" And I'm like, because it's his damn money.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
I was like, who the hell are you? Go, yeah.
Well, no, it didn't make any sense at all because I think the answer is obvious. I mean, if here in America, renters are required to provide stoves, which means that every apartment or house that you rent from someone, they're legally required to give you a stove. And if a person owns their own home, if they chances are there's a stove in it. I haven't came across an American without a stove that has a home or an apartment or what have you. So that's just a bizarre question. Like the question would have been better put to refrigerator, because some people have like 2 refrigerators, one in the garage or something like that. But to ask that question is really just shows something that is kind of a canned argument. MOT says, "What's up? Long live live streaming." Yeah, thanks a lot, MOT.
GameChanger, I want to ask you a question. Do you believe that maybe it's a subconscious resentment as to you being able, you have your own agency, that you're able to do whatever you want? People have their battle scars, and sometimes we like to glorify it. We feel like we're in Marvel, as in the Hall of Valhalla, like we have to glorify our wounds, and we have to glorify our encounters with problematic women. Or is it because it's like, hey, I don't really have that issue, I take, because my thing is this, it's like, if you're business minded, you will see, for example, if certain companies, if they feel like the taxes are too high, or they feel like it's not cost beneficial for them to stay in America domestically, they'll go overseas. Now, people might say, "Oh my God, how could you're going overseas for sweatshops, this, that, and the third?" Well, it's not necessarily going over there for sweatshops. It's more so I'm doing what's in my best interest, that's advantageous to me. Now, we can say, okay, you're going over there to trick. How do you know we're going over there to trick? Because I've known plenty of men that go over there, whether they are ADOS or not, and they have wives, and they go down there and live fulfilling lives. Like, I genuinely, I'm from New York. I don't plan on ideally like retiring in America. If my money, and I think maybe because if your money is right, then your perspective is different. Like, I wouldn't, that's just my take on it.
Yeah. So let me read this right quick. But one thing before I do want to say, and this is another point I want to bring up, when it was suggested that brothers just go to Vegas, as opposed to going to the Dominican Republic, if they want to pay for pussy. And maybe y'all can shed some light on this, because I found it odd, considering that Las Vegas is further from the East Coast than the Dominican Republic. And not just a little bit. It's about 1,000 miles further away, a little more than 1,000 miles. So perhaps y'all can shed light on that. But while I read these super chats, think about that for a second and then get back to me. Number 16, Salute says, call most women German shepherds, but get angry when men want to leave the country to meet other women. Yeah. See, I'm not really familiar with Minister Jap, and this isn't shade at him on that particular angle. Last time I watched him was about a year ago, and he was talking about this chick, Ashley W, and he roasted her something good. I thought it was funny. And then, like, I'll see his title. I am subscribed to him, and I'll see his titles from time to time, and I'll think that they're interesting, but I just don't really get a chance to catch them live. And I prefer to watch things live. So since I've seen him last, which was over a year ago, and I see him now, I noticed that he's doing the harp thing and stuff like that. So, it's a different dynamic. But yeah, if he's calling women German shepherds, then he understands that there's a problem. And I'll discuss this tomorrow, that there's a problem. And I guess the solution would be to avoid German shepherds. But it seems as though his solution is quite the opposite. He's pushing men in that direction.
So if that's the case, if we hypothetically speaking, if he acknowledges that the women over here are problematic, what are we supposed to be, celibate or proverbial eunuchs? I don't understand. Like, I thought being a part of a man is being proactive and understanding his situation and moving accordingly. That's what I presumed. But to me, it's like, and the weird thing is, like, I finished watching his stream, and he was saying how men or pedophiles are going over there, but then it's like, for example, collectively as Black people, we'll say, "Oh, men are pedophiles for going over to different countries," but we'll never acknowledge that uncle that is touching all the children. Like, I'm confused.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really nothing to be confused about. This is an obvious shaming tactic. I mean, like, they, for one, and this is just from talking to dudes in other countries, it's a worse offense there. and this is from talking to the locals, not really talking to tourists. From talking to the locals, it is, and here it's bad. They kill people in prison, at least in California, for that. Like, it's a required kill. So here it's extremely bad. There, just from talking about it in the way it's spoken of in casual conversation that's loosely related, they take something like that very seriously. And what I mean by that is not to say that we don't take it seriously, but there isn't any, an uncle touched a little girl or boy and he still gets invited to Thanksgiving. They don't play that there. So it's I don't know why they're saying like it's. I don't know if he's saying it's more prevalent or that's the reason why people are traveling. Because I can assure you that's far.
I'm familiar with Minister Jazz work and everything, but yeah, there's something I agree with him, but there's some days he just goes overboard. Because the fact is, he probably just focus on certain dudes that seem trying to glorify negative stuff about it and think it's everybody's, experience and overdoing it the way he's doing it. Like, I seen the video today, and he more focused on the reports of the negative parts of Brazil and all that stuff with the dark parts. That's every country and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, and every dude that have a passport, okay. If you just want to go get pussy everywhere in different states, yes, admit that. That's what you're going for and everything, yeah. But, you know what I'm saying? In other cases, why you pocket watching a lot of dudes, how they want to spend their money and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, if they want to have a good time somewhere else, technically, from my point of view, if you're in areas that you can't speak the language and all that stuff, you have no choice but to trick. You have no choice. Because, you know what I'm saying? You don't speak the language of the locals and stuff like that. And, of course, you want to get laid and stuff. And
see, now,
this dude with woman with a grown woman, that's what I advocate for. Yeah, I don't advocate for that peak shit. Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? But that's what he mostly focused on thinking. And that's when I was like, I kind of got a little cringeworthy of that part. Like, you focus on thinking dudes is pedophile going overseas. They kind of messing with grown ass women. Come on, man. Like,
well, do this. Say the word pedo.
Okay.
And this is what I
can say it on your channel. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
my bad about that before.
Yeah, no worries. And this is another thing, and this is why I was saying when I was on Solo's panel, like, are we certain that it was the passport dudes that flagged him? Because I do know that certain words, and I don't really know which ones, if said so many times in so many different ways, they will shut you down. Exactly. And maybe pedo is one of those words. And if he's screaming it out the top of his lungs,
oh yeah, he was saying the PPPREVERT.
Yeah. So if
you're saying like constantly everything,
what rhymes with Gerald Levert.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, so and besides that, it was in the title. So sometimes you just trigger the algorithm, and trust me, that's happened to me. Especially when you get those community guideline things, like sometimes just saying like trigger words over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And that will get you shut down like midstream.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
That's why, and that's all. I'm just saying, are we sure that it was passport dudes that did it? That's all I was saying on that.
I don't know. I didn't even know they took his video down behind that.
Yeah, apparently he was flagged down.
Okay.
But I'm like, were you flagged down, or are we sure
he was on
it?
He was on Donovan Shop show, the six and everything. Yeah, and he made an insight. This is a joke. Did he get his passport? Did they get their passport? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
see now here's my thing about that show. They will literally, like, Donovan will have a show titled like, "Why Are Men Giving Up on Dating?" And they'll all list all the reasons why. Show stats, show empirical evidence. But then at the end, the last 10 minutes, they're like, well, even with all that being said, there is no excuse for you not to have game. Like, it's like, yes, we know that California is burning, but only you could prevent wildfires. It's like, dude,
but he does have a point. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, he's trying to, like, suddenly be trying to toughen you up. You know what I mean? Yeah, because, you got to realize life is not going to be easy for us men. And we got to go out in the world and face that fact and fight it. We got women that thinking that the world's not fair, blah, 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 and everything. We don't care. It's in our DNA as a man. We acknowledge that the world's not fair. We don't give a shit. That's why we able to tackle it the way we are.
No, but what he's saying is like,
let me read a couple of these, and then we'll hear from Azrael, then MOT. All right. So Zero says rhetoric trick bag is real. Yeah. Yeah. It's ridiculous. I mean, I really want to, like you state, move the conversation forward, but stuff like this keeps coming up. So, Primetime VA says, isn't buying a stove for a woman cooking for you being a provider? I thought they wanted providers, LOL. Yeah, it's not really the women so much that's complaining. I mean, they use it as a general shame tactic, but it's really more the guys. Yeah, exactly. Because they think that the guys, I realize now that they see that as as cheating and a sexual competition that I'm not in. I'm not in sexual competition with any of you guys. And
Likewise,
for a very good reason. Yeah. And that is because people fall where they fall. I mean, like, do you know how bad I would lose competing with some of my friends? Like, it would be ridiculous. Like, and I'm talking about like in high school and shit like that. Like, it wouldn't even count. Like, it wouldn't even matter. Like,
you gotta return on your investment. So why they still focus on you for that? Like, come on, man. Get over it. You gotta return on your investment. That's how I see it. Hey, if you want to buy a stove, and I know dudes that spend 3 times way more money than that and barely even get the pussy like that. Get a that spoiler.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. There seems to be this invisible game that people should stop playing, that brothers need to stop playing because we're too old for games. I get it. Like, in junior high, like the movie The Wood, who get the most numbers. Oh, those chicks don't count. You got that one chick, that one number count for 10 of these, I get that. They in junior high. They learning to dance and they getting hard when they grab a girl's waist and shit like that. So, I get that. But we're grown now. Come on. Really?
No, my thing is like, what I'm saying? Like, stop shaming people that want to travel outside the US and everything.
Exactly.
Go
especially
have your own
men.
Experience. Stop listening to other dudes shaming you because of their experience. Especially they never travel over there themselves. They never travel over there themselves and they focus on the tricking part. You know what I'm saying? But when I travel, I get pussy as a byproduct. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I might not want to get pussy or can't get pussy, but I want to enjoy the experience of being in another country. Traveling, see the different cultures. If I get pussy, I get pussy. If I overseas. If I don't, I don't. And shit. But don't let motherfuckers trap you, shame you and all that shit, man. Come on, man. I'm serious.
But they're doing something that they know they're gonna lose at. Like, none of these dudes wanted to address me on any panel when it comes to any of that shit, because when it comes down to it, the shame tactics that they use against you guys or me for traveling, I could use against them for staying in a bad marketplace. It's the same type of tactics. And guess what? I will win, because here's the thing. Men are supposed to have choice based on...
MOT. Men are supposed to have choice based on...
He probably got muted or something.
I think he was about to say productivity.
And EXU, I think that person's right. I can't pronounce the name. Yeah, he said certain words that triggered the algorithm. Like it's like down websites. Facebook's like that.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you said men should be judged based on, and I think you were going to say productivity.
Yeah, your productivity. So what they want to do is they want to take the argument away from men from productivity and put it toward you should still get yourself in the best type of shape for her to choose. You shouldn't be choosing. She knows what the choices are for you. You have to restrict yourself to her choices. And it's like, that's not the way life goes. That's the way life been going. Because these people have, okay, so you have narrative and product to sell. What product are these people trying to sell? These people claim to be who they are because they're so good at a product that nearly nobody wants. And if the dudes were actually traveling, that would leave them with more of the product that they claim that they want here. So which one is it? Do you want dudes to participate in the marketplace where you are, or you just have a problem with dudes traveling because you know it's like a nut hidden wink towards women that yeah, these guys are going somewhere else because they can't get some of the good stuff here. I'm like, it don't matter. Once you have ones out of tens having kids, your industry is destroyed, especially when it comes to men within the environment. And most of these people go off on these tangents to help women, not to help men. Again, dating coaches, game dudes are here to help bottom barrel women get the most out of the most productive men in society. These guys have tied themselves to the actual outcome of a woman winning while they're acting like they're trying to help men. And we cannot say that forcefully enough. They're not your friends. They may give you better access than you ever had, but you're feeding your best self to somebody who's not even worth it.
Yeah,
I just
what's
want to
up,
say this
y'all?
thing before Ed, before you just go. I just want to say this. I've seen a multitude of comment sections. Like for example, there's one individual dating coach we all know. He's as of right now he's a pariah, but he has said, "Oh, there's a younger dude asked him. He's like, I don't know, man. Like, do you think for a little basically regarding self improvement, whatever you want to call it, but the guy's like, I don't know, man. I feel as though." That what is there to really choose from, and it's like, oh no, don't worry, come down to Howard, you'll find plenty of quality women here, but the guy's like, are they, he said, are they unproblematic, or do they have baggage, and do they don't have kids? And then he went off on, he was like, what are you expecting, a perfect woman? I'm like, that's not really necessarily a perfect woman. That's more so like the bare like minimum. I just feel like if you're saying, it's like saying, and I've heard other dudes like Super Sly say, "Oh, man, brother's gonna have to get to the fact that there are good women out here. They just might just so happen to have a kid." I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, I'm not
Yeah,
getting.
Don't think so. I disagree
I
with
mean,
Super Sly on that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the thing. Okay, so shout out to everybody. I am not gonna be up here long. It's just one thing I wanted to add, but on that front, yeah. I mean, the truth. Here's the thing. I always say this. This is true with the women. This is gonna be true in this situation. The truth is on our side. And as long as the truth is on our side, niggas start tap dance around the bullshit. Same dude, they were talking about that Abe. What's that Abe and that other dude that's got like 1 million subscribers?
I ban
They
and
talk about
preach.
the red pill.
Yeah, I
They
ban
they
and
know what
preach.
time yeah, they know what time it is. And you can tell when folks start tap dancing, especially people that are generally intelligent, when they start tap dancing. I'm like, dude, let's not have an argument, just seat it. And as far as Jap, I was perfectly fine. Jap can have his opinion. And I was like, dude, have your opinion and then, that's it. But when you start trying to bring up the perverse stuff, you've already accepted you can't win. You've already accepted you can't win. You can't and you can't and you're not changing shit. You've already accepted that. There's people that's in his camp. And to give you a perfect example, I've never been a fan of Tommy Sotomayor. You know how many times I've told people in my subscribership, if you fuck with him, stop, unsubscribe for me, because I'm gonna fucking time you out. These motherfuckers don't go away. So I actually said, you know what, if Corey and all them settled their beefs with him, why the fuck am I tripping over it? Clearly they're not going nowhere. So I let it go. And it's the same thing there. But when he starts doing this petty stuff, it's beyond the stupid bullshit with you're attacking other black men. And I know he would never do that if that was a non-black person. I know Jap would never do that if that was a white person. And that's
Well, I
another
think he
reason it
won't do it
kind
in
of
front of your
pisses me off.
face. Period.
No, well that too, but I don't think he would do it in front of a white person either, even over the airwaves. He won't do it. Now but I'm gonna say this and then I'm done. Appreciate you giving me the floor. The big reason why I think Jap won't leave Chicago is because if you understand what Jap used to do before, this is where the bullshit about the game becomes bullshit. Jap has an artificial advantage because Jap has a reputation in Chicago because he used to rap there. Shout out to the Roger Report who dabbled in rapping in that scene as well. There's nothing wrong with that, but because Jap is not really a true game dude. He's not selling game material. He's really more of kind of like an acolyte and enthusiast, and at the same time he does that vernacular. But my point is, as far as I'm concerned, he won't leave Chicago because he knows that's where he has his artificial advantage. He goes somewhere else. Now he has to stand actually on the game that he likes to talk about. And that's what I wanted to really bring to you all as far as him personally, because as much shit as he talks about black women, make no mistake, he talks more shit than all of us. Probably David Carroll is the only one that goes harder than Jap. Yet at the same time, it bothers him so much that black men are going over. Tell them, like, black men go overseas, it don't matter what the fuck they're doing. Guess what? That's more women for you. Why do you go out of your way to the point where you'll just slander shit? And as far as I'm concerned, he needs to name names so he can open himself up to get a lawsuit. Otherwise, shut the fuck up. Anyway, I'm done. I appreciate it.
That's an interesting take.
That's a fact.
Let me read this quick, fellas. It says some of these dudes shouldn't throw stones when they live in glass houses. Didn't one of them admit a while ago that some B accused him of the R word? Yeah, I don't really fault the dude for if something like that happens. That's more of a chick, because that's not something anybody should lie about ever. But unfortunately, and trust me when I say they will and do, even if it's not the chick itself. That's just. People have no morals. Now, as far as throwing stones, yeah, I agree. And that's why I don't think it's a competition, or it should be a competition, because you're either, and this is why it only exists here, because you pretty much know. Like, so, like anybody, when it comes to the ability to attract the opposite sex, most people are better than some, worse than others. And they have guys in their circles that are better and some guys who are worse. If you have a friend that's better, he's just throwing stones. Like maybe the first couple of times, it's like, okay, I get it. You're that dude. But after a while, it's just like, okay, I get it. I get 2 numbers. You get 22 numbers. I get it. Like, are you gonna just shame me about it? Like every time we go out, because you wouldn't be friends. Friendships like that don't last. And or if you get 8 and the next dude don't get any, what do you just shame him all the like? That's immature. Like you eventually come to just some general understanding. Like this is the dude that's good at getting numbers. This is the dude that's good with numbers. This is the dude that's athletic or something like that. Or no matter what, like you just come to some sort of balance, because it's immature to play that game forever. Online, because there's no receipts involved, a person can really play that game forever and throw stones forever and just kind of like do this forever. Like it's like, oh gosh, that's okay.
Yeah, I just feel like we need to take a look at how gynocratic minded some men are in the sphere, because if we can have movies, black women are uninhibited as to what they want to do. They could travel. You've seen the things. I don't know if everybody's been on social media lately. There's been women going to Atlanta in U-Hauls, sleeping in U-Hauls and vans because they ran out of hotels. Now, if we heard about that with black men going to Brazil and they were sleeping in like vans or like in the favelas, people will be cracking jokes to the cows come home. But it's like, it's just weird to me that as men, we're policing other men as to what they can do with themselves. Especially like, I don't know, just because of the fact that you have black women they're notorious for doing whatever they want during All-Star weekend. I brought up the fact that they go to Mocha Festival. I brought up the fact that you got black women going to Essence Festival, going to Jamaica, doing all this stuff. But mere black men, as soon as I forgot the guy's name, Obsidian did an interview with him, and it was something about black men going to Brazil, and like he was talking about all the pushback that he got. It wasn't even off of like, okay, here's one of your options. Like it wasn't like, okay, oh, don't deal with black women, don't bother. It was like, okay, here's an option for black men to pursue, and it was like people were so opposed to it. It just reminds me of like how they, almost like a lynching thing of you even talking to white women is such a big issue. So I don't know.
You know what bothers me also too is like, you know what? If that dude wants to find a wife outside the U.S., I have to tell the dude, don't be naive about it and everything. You know what I'm saying? That's it. But always expand your options, and it doesn't have to be here. That's what gives us men the advantage. You ain't got to deal with women in the U.S. You go overseas if you want to, and everything. Just don't be naive everywhere. You know, when you deal with women, don't be naive about it. Whatever reason you want to marry a woman, don't be naive. Make her, you know, vet her, validate her. Vet her as much as possible.
To me, it's interesting.
If it's U.S., overseas, Jamaica, Africa, all that shit. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Because by their logic, if they consider men going overseas tricking, once you end a relationship with a woman, there's no recompense. You're not getting a return on investment. So isn't that the same? Isn't it equivalent to tricking?
No, it's not, because tricking is paying for sex that you actually get. What you're describing is men paying for sex that they got. There's a huge difference. You're basically paying for pussy that you once had versus paying for pussy that you're getting. That's what tricks do. Mm-hmm. People who pay alimony and shit like that, they're paying for the pussy that they had a long time ago.
Okay, well,
interesting.
I think we're slightly missing the point here. Okay. I mean, you have to realize that. Whoa, what's going on? All right, so you have to realize that the gynocratically chosen is going to take the side of the people who they are chosen by in order to keep an audience. You have to keep that in mind. There is an agenda here. There is an agenda to keep men within an environment where they're not happy, because there's a lot of men within the Black America who gets off on men's sexual displeasure within the environment of where they're at. Now, the same men don't police the women in who they choose, but they want to restrict the men. So which one is it? Are we only okay with restricting the actual men within the environment, or is those men going to be able to practice some type of restriction for the actual women? This is why I say it's a zero-sum game, and that you should always put yourself in the best choosing position possible. It's almost like they don't want men to have choice. They want women to have the only choice, and her choice matters over a man's choice. As long as your choice is her choice. As long as your choice is her choice, then your choices matter. The moment that your choice is not her, then your choices don't matter. And hence, you shouldn't care about what these people think once it becomes that as the actual issue.
So, MOT, you said that these guys who are chosen by women, these aren't those guys. And I'm not saying that they're not ladies' men in their own right. I'm saying that these are the ones that call them German Shepherds or something like, and stuff like that. These aren't the
no Fox Paws. Fox Paws. Like it's like claim that you've been chosen and being chosen is actually the same currency. You actually don't get rewarded with anything, because no one has actually seen any of this stuff be done. It's a way of gynocratically clout chasing within the environment without a level of proof. That's the only thing that it is. So they ride the fine pro-Black line of making it look like you want to reserve the men to be within this environment, and riding a particular line that I get whatever I want within the environment. It's both the same line, just being split to the same line.
And another thing nobody never talks about is what usually, to the extent that the tricky conversation is had, that is dudes that are basically defending. It's kind of like GameChanger, what you do when it comes to light skin. When you say, I'm going to fuck with who the fuck I fuck with, and you ain't going to tell me who the fuck I fuck with, because who the fuck are you? And then I'm going to go out of my way to make a song, to troll, to do whatever, just to show you how much of you ain't running shit when it comes to telling me, you know, where you say, you know, nobody dictates what you're dictating, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. That's really what from the passport bros. The tricking is not as actually widespread as a lot of people like to say. You know, it's really not. We just don't really fight that argument, because that's kind of, a lot of people will say, if you fight that argument, you're kind of playing by the rules. So they say, you know what, let's go with that. And then what the fuck you gonna do about it? But truth be told, a lot of Black men, this ain't like old white men and shit. motherfuckers don't gotta do all of that. I mean, if you're average height and all of that, the novelty alone helps you. And that's even amongst white folks. When it comes to black dudes, we gotta remember what the reputation of black men are is spread out by hip hop and all that other stuff. You know, hell, and this is another thing that people don't understand. This is what kills me. You don't have to leave the United States. I mean, let's take SYSBM for
Oh.
example. SYSBM and passport, bro, they're completely
Oh my
technically
God,
different.
I'm glad he did it. I'm sorry, bro. I'm glad you opened this up, man.
No, don't. Let him finish, please.
Yeah, so the idea is SYSBM, yeah, you can have overlap, sure. But SYSBM is not built on just going overseas. SYSBM is its own thing. So this idea that dudes have to leave, they have to, that's just a number that dudes have never really argued because quite frankly, the passport industry, the travel industry is actually bigger than the black manosphere. It has black men in it, it has black women in it, even the tricking sector. There's like people don't know what Mocha Escapes is, Urban Escapes, Mocha Fest. That's the
I
black
know about
women
Mocha
doing it.
Fest. I've been there.
But nobody
3 times.
never talks about that because
Exactly.
when it's black women, this goes back to what MOT said. These motherfuckers don't care. Only Obsidian has ever brought that up. Not Japanese have never brought that up. So my point is, my question again, it's crazy the amount of information they're putting out there just based on just straight bullshit, man. It really is.
No, no,
That's
no, no,
what.
no.
Why these niggas do act
It's
like hoes?
no. It's easy at this point. Ask Minister Jap when was the last time he called a BW a pervert for going overseas getting herself some white peen. Let's put his ass on the spot with that.
Or
Yeah,
Jamaican, or
That's
yeah,
real.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Jab would, let's be real here. Jab would never argue this shit. Like Jab hung up on me years ago when he had no answer for it. I wish I had that clip. I had an answer for every fucking thing I hope he hears this shit too. I had an answer for
That's
every
why it's
motherfucking thing he
cultural
had,
slander for black male choice.
just like that white bitch. And Kevin Samuels, and what happened is he did the same thing she did, which is walk the fuck away. Except he hung up on me because he couldn't handle it. That's what he did. You know, so he will never debate anybody on this. He won't debate Aaron Ferris and them on this because he'll start talking about he want to fight or some shit because he knows he has no real answer. This is just, and he's not the only one. Jason Black hasn't talked about it recently, but I remember Jason, to be fair, he's never talked about accusing nobody of being pervert. But Jason Black has, like, it's some of these dudes, it bothers them very deeply that dudes are going overseas, and nobody has been able
But
to answer
why
why.
though, man?
Yo,
Damn.
yo.
And here's
Can I
the
say
crazy
something?
part. Yes, go
hold
ahead.
on, Wacky. We're gonna go Edward, then Melody. If she has something, then Ray. But
I just want to finish real quick. I wanted y'all to understand. I'm passionate. I was gonna keep my mouth shut on this, but since the platform there is there, I'm passionate about this is because I was in that market before I even came to the Black Manosphere. This predates BGS for me. I was listening to Blog Talk Radio when I was overseas on my job shit. You know, listening to rest in peace Charles Tyler. And Charles Tyler is a dude from Philadelphia, you know, that has a black, that had, you know, black woman, his daughter's in the Navy now. And he was talking about stuff like with what's it called, Taylor Made Dreams, talking about the stress, all that of being just a black man. And how he lost weight and all of that. And it's unfortunate because that dude never made it. This is a dude that had a black kid, dark-skinned black woman, dark-skinned daughter, took care of his responsibilities, and he never made it because, you know, unfortunately his health gave out when it was actually improving his health. Taylor Made Dreams is talking about this. So you never hear these niggas talk about that shit. So this stuff predates a lot of the manosphere stuff, and it was never about bashing black women. He did not do that. It was always about saying black men deserve a choice. If black women want to act the way they do, let them act the way they do. Black men deserve a choice to choose to engage with that or not. And see, niggas like that will never keep that 100. And so to go from that to like with some of these dudes, because they keep on, you know, the names of people that bring that up. That is just the most disgusting thing you can ever do to a black. That's worse than calling a nigga gay. To accuse him of doing some shit like that. Like, man, I can't even say on the airwaves what I really think, man, about shit like that. I really can't. I'm not gonna fuck up your panel by really saying that. But like, oh man, that's some special shit, man. It really is.
So, right quick, just as an aside, for those of you who don't know, I actually met Russell several times. Taylor Made Dreams, Out the Matrix several times. Salute to him.
Yeah, cool
If you
dude.
haven't already, in person. And real cool dude. You know, you could walk up to him, say what's up. You know, he bought me a Bahama Mama. You know, I don't drink, so I was a virgin. And yeah, just a real cool dude. So salute to him. Say what's up if you see him in your travels. And let me just read these and then we'll go to Sweet Melody Speaks. So Eric Bird says, salute, just left a brothel. No Me Too in sight. Yeah, you know, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with two consenting adults, even if that consent is purchased. I don't really see anything wrong with it. Smurgo says, Minister Jap, the king of the gynocracy. I'm not familiar enough with his body of work, to be honest. I mean, people send me videos because he has people that don't like him, and apparently they want me to roast him. And this is like, and notice I never done it. This has been like sporadically for years, but they do that with a lot of people. Like, don't do that. Don't send me videos expecting me to fight battles with somebody I don't really have anything against. But salute. But yeah, apparently maybe he is a king gynocracy for all I know. Eric Bird says, the whole house that I left was filled with educated bros. Street dudes and white men, let that sink in. I guess pussy unites all men. That's the conclusion from that. Yeah. All right. So speaking of which, Melody, what's on your mind?
Hey, so is Minister Job shaming black men for going overseas? Like, I'm sorry, I'm late.
Yeah. So I was going to talk about Minister Jap tomorrow, but yeah, apparently what happened was some guys were allegedly sending him their vacation porn or whatnot. Which, you know, I don't really know why, but you know, I'll just like, I'll consider something like that as spam. But he took it personal and he went online and he went on a whole tirade against, you know, calling men who travel and have sex with women or pay women to have sex, more particularly perverts.
This was even beyond what they sent him, like what he's been hearing lately and everything. The whole I don't know the proper word for it, but you know, the stigma about, you know, dudes travel overseas to get, you know, tricking overseas and the way they is with the sex.
So what?
His beef with
That's
the sex
what I kind of figured. Yeah,
So
like
what? If they want to trick overseas, then let them. They do it here, so why is it a problem to do it overseas?
you would think men that are like so against the fuckery of women in the U.S. would be, you know, with the brothers that in hell that are going overseas, you know what I mean, or trying to like, you know, go elsewhere and shit, not trying to fuck with these females, man, that are like so super treacherous and shit like that. You know what I mean? So it's just funny, man. And
okay, hold on, let me say something real quick.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Okay. When it comes to people who have something to say against those who travel overseas, especially within the so-called black community in America, I find the hypocrisy because whenever specifically so-called black people in America speak against black males who travel, they pretend to have this moral high ground in which they talk about, oh, you guys are tricking, you guys are doing these degrading things to women over there, yada, 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 yada. But yet, the same shit that they complain about, they supposedly accuse black men of doing overseas, is done in their own backyard, and they don't say shit about it.
Yeah.
They accuse so-called black men of going overseas and you know, engaging in pedophilia supposedly, right? But yet pedophilia happens in countless amount of times within Black America. But they say nothing about it in their own backyard. Tricking happens in their own backyard. You know, they probably, you know, a lot of so-called black people in America got pimps, got family members that's all prostitutes. You know what I'm saying? They got family members that are pimps. They got family members that are tricking themselves, and they say nothing about it. But all of a sudden, when it comes to so-called black males just wanting to, you know, be more knowledgeable about the world, open up, widen their horizons and travel overseas, all of a sudden they want to pretend to take this moral high ground saying you guys are doing this, you're tricking, you're doing that, and the third. And a lot of these individuals who make these generalizations against black males who travel never have evidence to prove that black males, as far as the majority of them that travel, are doing this.
Or
They
a
might,
significant amount, yeah.
They
But
might
like,
take
why are
one or
you
two
tripping?
examples
Why
of
they
black males as
tripping
doing it,
though?
and then blame it on the whole entire collective of black males who travel, which is stupid. So this is some other thing that I tell you, brothers, don't even pay any attention to it. These brothers who talk against other black males that travel, they just act like a bunch of bitches, and at the same time, they try to create some sort of sensationalism within their channels to get a lot of views and to get people
Listen,
talking about them. So
it
at the
it
end
be
of the day, it's
fucked
all
up
about
videos
viewership
like this
and money.
though. It be fucked up videos. It be fucked up videos like that, man. They be making niggas unsubscribe to motherfuckers, man, because they be talking so disingenuous and shit. You want to talk red pill, whatever, but then again,
Not
you want to sound
necessarily.
you want to sound like a slick, male feminist.
Yeah, but most
Team
of them, most of them
team
don't even
feminist.
know. Most of them don't even know what the red pill is because they take the term red pill out of context. But that's all I have to say about that, man. I mean, these people they're a waste of time and fresh
Yeah.
precious air. So don't even listen to them. So you guys have a good night, man.
All right.
brother.
Good night.
You
I
too,
had to
man.
unsubscribe to
Yeah.
them niggas though, man.
So apparently he has a video now saying I want to apologize to my passport niggas. So maybe everything's cool. Maybe he was just lashing out at something he got in his email and he got it off his chest. And
But he's known to do that, GC. I mean, just getting on like in his old feminine nature and shit, man. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like, you don't be acting like that, dude. Like, that ain't the first time, man, where he like then spazzed out and shit and then apologized or whatever. I mean, I understand that apology and all that shit, bro. But man, you got a pattern of this shit, man. You know what I mean? To where you gonna fly off the handle and get all like crazy acting like that and shit like they want to dismiss a man, like when they kicked you off and shit, like when he did that shit, man, that pissed me off right there. So I mean that just showed that just shows me, I mean, you're not a man. You're getting all that just female shit, man. You know what I mean? Come on, man.
Well, it's not a good look. I mean, it shows a lack of control of emotions, but nevertheless,
I'm sorry, GameChanger.
it's real quick, brother. I mean, nevertheless, it's
video.
Yeah, no worries. Nevertheless, it's going to be the case. Like, it's the case either way. Like, I mean, the lack of emotional control is out there, whether he apologizes or not. So the fact that he did, like, I'll take my video down. Like, what I have scheduled tomorrow, I'll just take that down because, hey, he's being sarcastic.
I'm watching the video now. I don't know if he's drunk, but it's actually hitting him or something.
Y'all
like
talking about Minister Jap or Solo?
Yeah, no, Minister Jap.
It's Jap on his probably on his phone somewhere. Probably it's kind of like a bar or something like that. But yeah, he's like in his depressed state or something like that. Yeah, because all the backlash.
Oh, okay. I thought y'all was talking about Solo for a minute.
On
Yeah.
YouTube, probably hitting him on his Facebook, like it's online, like he's trying to apologize, like what I'm saying, because want my friends back and all that stuff. That's what he's saying. Yeah, like. Yeah.
Okay, everybody's saying he's being sarcastic, so it's not a genuine thing. Okay, so then
I mean, I'm watching the video now.
Well then,
yeah, so
null and void.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the German Shepherds, bro. I said, oh God, nigga.
What's that? Mel, what are you doing?
No, that's the video. Jap is apologizing and everything. It's on. It's like a stream. You can go on this channel, and watch it too. Also, it's like you know what I'm saying. I mean, whether other people want to get out of it and everything, but yeah, most likely, when it's hitting someone, when they start losing their own peoples, mess, when you go overboard with your stuff and you start losing peoples, that's when sometimes you got to tone. I mean, it's all right to speak your mind and everything, but yeah, I think that sometimes is the time and place to speak it also too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like
I mean, there's certain things like it's
acting it, and sometimes even speaking. Sometimes you can just act the red pill and don't have to speak it.
I mean, but Mel though, sometimes, man, like you can apologize for shit though, but still, it's like certain statements, man. That's from the heart, bro.
Yeah, exactly. The damage is already done, but still, if you still feel, if you still like it's messing you up and it's getting to you, just get out there and do your part, and whatever the outcome comes after that, if you can handle it, you still act, you know what I'm saying, genuinely, like if you apologize, you know what I'm saying, but just like, with the YouTube, what people go through with the cancel culture mess and all that mess, and so I think he's facing cancel culture from, the YouTube community and the Facebook community, from the passport bros and stuff, because some of his own people do trick also too, but he's saying also too, his close friends, and they probably, got on him about that.
Yeah, I hear you.
Why is he so triggered? Is he jealous or something?
I don't know. I have to look at it. Apparently, there's history in it. What's going on, spiritual? Apparently, there's history in it, but Melody, from what I gather, and I was saying this on someone else's panel earlier today. I think it was it wasn't yours, but I was saying this on someone else's panel earlier today that we are the only group of people where our masculinity, Black men, is measured by our sexual prowess. So, and they don't want to take that. Like, once Black men stop, because no matter what, if you are openly tricking, so to speak, you're not really measuring your masculinity by your ability to get sex, to convince a woman to sleep with you. You're not. And once that's taken away, then you have to start measuring masculinity by other matrices, then they probably aren't ready for that. They want to be measured by the old ruler, which is a ruler that no other race is using.
Right.
So, and that's what I suspect. That's what I suspect.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
I have
guys that spend most of their time just paying for sex, put himself on the same levels as a guy that don't pay for sex, and he gets sex just by talking to women and everything, Yeah, I get it with that part, yeah, and everything, but yeah. But the guys that paying for sex, they act like they don't trick, and try to mask it like they on the same level as a guy that doesn't trick and getting sex and everything. I can understand getting on dudes like that, but if this is a dude that's openly saying he's a trick and everything, don't mind it, like I said, the Quagmire type from Family Guy, he gets sex by talking to females and paying for it.
Exactly.
He don't care. That's how he want to have his fun. If you're proud of that, then go ahead. As long as you know like damage nobody, be no
Hey, I'll say,
if it's and the women are over the age, hey,
as long as you're not hurting nobody, then you're fine. Do what you want to do.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, shit, it should be about, hell, man's happiness, So shit, like, hell, so damn it, so what my nigga bought, so what he bought her a stove,
I didn't want to play this game. I really didn't want to entertain this game because this is like a slippery slope, like a motherfucker. And this is why propaganda is so damaging, because what happens is people start mulling it over. Well, man, as long as you ain't doing this and doing it, and they over the age, which basically assumes that it's got to be somebody doing that, and there's been no evidence to present that. I just want to add this in here. Nicki Minaj's brother, we know what she got convicted of. That was fucking here. Nicki Minaj's husband, that was fucking here. That was on the what? I think the West. I don't know if it's West Coast. I don't know. That was fucking here. You know what Black women try to act like goes on in the Black community. They're only talking about in the United States. This idea that dudes go overseas to an environment. I don't think R. Kelly did what they trying to say he did, but you know what R. Kelly was accused of, and he wasn't accused of doing that shit overseas. The point is, when you actually statistically look, people do not go, unless you're like super rich, people do not go outside of their environment. The Epstein shit was like an island that he owned, so that don't even count. Dudes do not go outside of their environment of what they can control to do some shit like that, because it's too many variables. Like, we act like these dudes, shout out to Ramil. You remember Ramil used to talk about dudes even having sex with other women, how they were on that. So you really believe that they're going to allow Black men especially, to come in there and do some shit like that?
you would be hearing about a lot of dudes got killed on sight. I'm talking about even if they believe that might happen. And
I
these are
feel that.
dudes, these are not dudes that are limited by the United States of America and our law. We know how dudes are in prison with that shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So like you, huh?
No, I was saying that earlier, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I just popped on. So you have to, so I want, like, I get that y'all, I'm not saying y'all ain't have a right to have y'all thoughts, but it's kind of really think about how the propaganda works, where if people say stuff enough, then what happens is you start, it's kind of like if you make two people run for president. At the end of the day, no matter how unqualified you think somebody is, if they're running through, they get to that general election, it's pretty much option A versus option B, right? And they're all going to be put on some kind of equal platter. It's usually always close. That's kind of what this is. So these dudes are saying stuff without no. It'd be one thing if they had some stuff they were putting. We're not even talking about an article. We're just talking about them just putting that shit. That is literally hate speech what they're doing. And if they put a name to that, they could actually catch a case on that. And that's why they're smart enough not to do that. That's why he was smart enough to even do the pervert shit, because he already knows what he's doing. So when people talk about, well, he apologized, you can't really apologize for that. And the thing about it is, I'm from Chicago, and you like so people know like what goes down. So it's like of all this stuff, you worry about something that ain't even really in your mindscape. But let's make no mistake, that shit, to the extent that it happens, it is not even statistically significant how much it happens overseas with African American men to how much it actually probably happens here, to the extent that we're going to have that conversation. So my question is, if you care so much about the topic, why is it that you're worried about, like, think about it. I'm not saying we know, but you know of dudes that'll be in their mid-20s, 26, 27, and let's stop acting like these chicks don't be doing what they want to do, but whatever. Did they sit there and they mind high school because they don't grow the fuck up? You know the concept. We were all in high school and we saw that when we were in high school, motherfuckers with cars and all that. Even Kendrick Lamar talked about that shit in that song back then. So this idea, and see, this becomes a slippery slope, because then it becomes like I'm incriminating black men. And see, this is how this shit becomes so horrible. But my point is, the idea that we all went in high school, we all saw that across the board. And not, like I said, these bitches were doing what the fuck they wanted to do at the end of the day, because they was, when you get a fake ID and all of that, that's intentional. But whatever. My point is, for you to bring that up and then you to turn around and then act like the same dude is doing that is not going to have it in his mind that I'm going to go overseas. Only 6% of black men have passports. If you take out black men that are first immigrants or first generation, and then you take out black men that are in the military, black men in the military are not doing that.
No.
It's a very, very small percentage of dudes that actually got passport and going. And of the dudes that got passports, it ain't like they are ADOS. It ain't even like they using it like that. So when you really look at it, and then you talking to a nigga that ain't even never been overseas. Now, this ain't everybody who said it. It's like, nigga, where are you getting this shit from? Like, are you fucking
do you think, Edward,
yeah.
do you think these motherfuckers that be shaming other men on going overseas, do you think it's a thing where they're like being team feminists and trying to shame men
No,
to try to make them feel bound to the women here?
That's an oversimplification, because and I get why people would make it, but like I'm not trying to put out names. The Sly didn't say it this time, but Sly has a passport. Sly's been overseas. Jap, well, we know what his content is. So you almost got to take some of these people like a case by case basis. Jap ain't got kids, so it ain't like the child support angle where he just can't go. So a lot of it is, because if you notice what they talk about, they say, "Oh, you can't get this game." First of all, most dudes are not incels in the United States, and then they're superheroes outside the United States. Dudes can get pussy that is satisfactory in the United States. It's just a lot of the effort that you got to put in the bullshit, motherfuckers ain't feeling that. And a lot of dudes, they
Right,
deal with
right.
women here, they deal with women overseas. It's not like oh, going overseas is expensive. So it's not like it's like dudes and they're just living. There's only a couple of situations where dudes can get away with that. If you in Miami, because the flights are inexpensive. If you in New York, the route to DR, that's why them niggas are always going to DR, because they got cheap flights. And yeah, that's really it. Because no matter where you are on the West
I
Coast,
didn't know that.
yeah, that's why you always see New Yorkers down there, because in that area, those routes to the DR, and probably they have a strong Dominican community, is very inexpensive. So if you actually know the routes, you kind of know why you tend to see certain people there. And a lot of it is just vacation. And so, like, if somebody that's been in the space, and again, the passport bros is really the manosphere kind of sector of it. But the truth is, man, you got people like Passport Heavy. Like, I'm in internet marketing. So you have a internet marketing angle where it ain't got nothing to do with the women. It has to do with like remote doing work. It has everything to do, like, so you bring people in there from a wealth building perspective. I mean, it's so many angles with it. It goes so much beyond it. I mean, it's a lot of black women that travel. You got a swirler angle. You got black women that they travel with their black boyfriend and their black husbands angle. This shit is so much bigger than what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah,
Hey John, did you get a
line?
Did you get a chance to go, bro? I'm sorry.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
No, I was just yeah, I agree. I think it's just that you know, we were talking about that Pablo channel, and I think that, you know, a lot of these guys are just like you know, it's a competition about, like, you know, who can get this and who can get that. And I think that, like, you know, it's you know, these guys that are doing that, and there's only like a small amount of people that are even going overseas and doing all this type of stuff. So my thing is, like, you know, if these guys are going or getting prostitutes or doing all this type of stuff, like, you know, why do they care if they're doing all this type of stuff? So it's like, you know, what is the concern with them? Because I think that yeah, and I think he's the one to be calling black women, you know, we call it German shepherds or something, right?
Yeah.
German.
Yeah, that's what I understand.
But then he called them German shepherds, but then he talked about bragging about getting them, like, oh yeah, I'm always I'm you know, going to the club and getting this woman, but then they all German shepherds.
So it's like, which are you, nigga? Like, damn.
I mean, you
And
just
the thing about it
contradictory,
is,
man.
the
So,
dudes, the
you know,
passport dudes
Steve
don't even
did.
talk about black women like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, and this is why I'm giving this attention, because there's always going to be, you know, those people, but it's kind of new right now, because this is the first time that it's coming from the group of people that identify the problem. Like before, it was coming from people that, you know, pretend like I don't have those type of problems crowd, because I'm
Yeah,
so
but they don't kind of shut up.
yeah, but now it's like people who understand that there's a problem, and they understand that this is part of the solution, but yet they are suggesting or shaming people for taking it. It's you know,
I mean, it's dudes that go to the islands, they go to the Caribbean. So you think that's what's going on? I mean, shout out to you, GameChanger interview. What her name was, Chantel Simone.
Oh
like,
yeah,
you really think motherfuckers are going the same time? I got friends. I mean, shout out to Solo. I know he's Caribbean descent. I got Caribbean friends. So you saying that's what's going on there too? Like, is that you really think that's how they get down Jamaica? That's what they letting black men just go up in there and do? Like it's, you can tell that these motherfuckers are just talking out their ass, and they ain't even nothing they saying it makes any kind of sense. And it's like, for you to even, it's crazy, because the angle that y'all should look at it is this is how loyal people are to game. I mean, GameChanger, you said it. You said that this compare and contrast, and what you have to do, if you look at it from a deeper perspective, is these niggas don't know what being a man is outside of a bitch. And see, I want people to understand that.
Correct.
Because when you look at other races, yes, I'm comparing other races now. When you look at Arabs, when you look at Hispanics, or not necessarily, but you look at Arabs and Asians, their identity as a man is not like when this 100% tied to what a bitch says a bitch thinks. And this is why I said niggas need love. Black men would rather have love than have respect. And you see it manifest in very weird and very interesting ways, to the point where you have a black man that is literally on some, like, I mean, he say some shit I would not say. And this is why I always say, if you got mad at me, you go listen to Jack. But the point is, at the same time, his validation comes from that same bitch he talks about. Like straight up. And it's like, dude, I mean, I was listening to Fresh and Fit for a hot second. I turned this shit off because he had to throw his little dig there. That nigga, so the topic had nothing to do with him. I forget what it was on, but he had to throw this little out of nowhere. Oh, but they ain't like them niggas with the passports. And I'm like, nigga.
Basically feeding the dog while kicking it.
Because most dudes, I mean, shit, we're not even talking about Dynus. Dynus is married. Dynus is a prince and got citizenship in Nigeria. And Ghana Dan, they're doing work over there building a farm like business. Like, are you fucking serious? Like, I mean, O'Shea too, even though O'Shea fucks with Jap with the Uganda shit. Like, this shit goes so much bigger than like, what the fuck, little book. And I say this because it really troubles me. Like, nigga, Chicago is a fucking county. And it's like, you're so loyal to that county that is like, we're being gentrified. Nigga, you know what I mean? Niggas are in North Carolina because they're economic refugees because they couldn't make it where they were supposed to be at, you know, and they get kicked out of here. So they come down here because of cost of living and shit. You see the same shit in Phoenix and shit like that. And it's like, y'all, and then I'm gonna say this and I am done. I've never been one to go to strip clubs. I'm not a strip club guy. When you look at all the money that these niggas spend in the club to stunt for stupid bitches in a strip club too, and you don't even get no pussy.
Exactly.
For you to sit there and nigga, it's a ritual.
Yeah,
and the trick they fucking in there too for like a G.
I call that trick teasing. They up there trick teasing chicks and shit, and they spend so much money trying to get a pussy so much, and then try to disguise it as I'm just going there at the bar to get some food and get some drinks, just enjoy the scenery.
And let's keep it all the way 100. What did Amber Rose say? What did Cardi B say? That they were underage when they went in that bitch. When they first ran away and did it. They all said that. They were 16 years old. So where the smoke at? You know? Like, fuck out of here,
man. Boy, I feel you, man.
To create an NBD. What's IAH, fellas? Y'all know I don't keep up with modern culture. What's IAH? What's that? Okay. I don't know what
that sound like that's an airport. That's an airport code. I don't know what that is.
Oh, an airport code. Okay. Probably Houston. I think Trey's in Texas. So maybe that's Houston. To Medellin.
That might be it.
Yeah, from one state to like you're flying from one state to another. 251 round trip, fellas.
Okay.
Oh,
so,
that's
yeah,
the
that's
price. Yeah, the price of total.
I mean,
I'm not traveling. I actually plan on going in June, but it depends because it's not just me. Some other people are going and they don't want to take the COVID test to go. So apparently there's a COVID test.
Crazy traveling during COVID. My thing is, black men. Let me tell you something. My position is black men should travel even if they knew they weren't getting no pussy. It's that big of an experience from an awareness standpoint and what it can do to your like mentality coming back. It'll make you a better person.
What I'm saying.
From
what I'm seeing, hearing from brothers like GC and Black Man Travels, in which I'm about to look at his video when he's talking about with Jap and shit, because you know that pissed him off. You know what I mean? And Black Man Travels, Dennis Champierre, a lot of them guys, man, what they show is like, you know, concrete, dude. Like, damn, like it's like in your face action. You know what I mean? So they're doing interviews with motherfuckers over there and shit. So. And it just makes what these motherfuckers are saying is just obsolete, man.
Yeah. Passport Heavy's videos are 30,000 passports. Go to Passport Heavy. It's a dude from Chicago Jabril, and Jabril wasn't born rich. He came up in the internet marketing world and did the travel thing. As well.
Chocolate Man.
His videos are 30,000. His videos that he puts on Passport Bros is not Passport Bros, but Passport Heavy is $30,000. A video is how much it costs to put that shit together. And if you see the people he has in there, yo, that shit is better than what's on TV. And he does it all over the world. Like that shit really should be picked up on TV.
What's his name? He got a channel and shit too. What's his name?
Yeah, it's called Passport Heavy. His name is Jabril, and that's just what he does on the travel shit. That's not even like what he mainly does. Yes, and he has like 250,000. I mean, dude makes a million more than $1 million a year. And then you got Minority Nomad, who's a travel blogger who came up that way.
To that dude.
Yeah, so my point is, you're seeing black men doing great things, and as a black man that wants to give and this ain't just, for black men and only black men. I mean, shit, black women got Travel Noir. Black women are actually stronger in the travel space than black men are because black women have slightly more passports, so they don't need no help. But shout out to Travel Noir. It's a lot of great black travel feed, a lot great travel websites is black controlled. And you seeing black people doing great things, and then they are coming back to the United States. It's not like they just leaving. That's it. And it's
bro,
just,
when I look at all y'all brothers, that man, when I see y'all brothers, man, hearing y'all travels and shit like that, man, hey, that gets me excited, bro. Like, man, it just can't wait to join the adventure, bro. Like, I want to get out there. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't gonna hate and shit. That's crazy,
and one
man.
thing that I used to hate on them for, and I used to tell them to stop doing it, and they have stopped, is when niggas will put Instagram photos in the groups. I would say, you niggas need to stop that shit. If you ain't taking real pictures, stop uploading that shit. That's not what we're doing. Because it was about people that were in the groups
Hold on.
What was going on. Huh?
What was going on now?
Well, they were putting Instagram pictures in there. Instagram pictures are like women. So they put up thoughts and stuff that happen to be Latin and shit. Some of them were doing that. I don't know I think it was the motherfuckers that weren't traveling. I said, y'all gotta stop doing that. We want authentic pictures for people that are on the ground, people that are doing video footage. Don't, because because that makes us look bad. So to be fair, motherfuckers, stop that shit. So this ain't me. We call shit out when it needs to be called the fuck out. But that ain't what they talking about. What they're talking about is they saying motherfuckers are going overseas to do some I'm like, yo, them. If you look at anybody who's been convicted of that shit, them motherfuckers are here. They're not overseas. Like, that shit would be in the news like a motherfucker. They're not, especially if they were a black man. Shit.
Yeah, that was very cringeworthy. Like, he kept comparing one negative stigma from one side of town of Brazil, and that's like the overall 100%. I'm like, that's just that dark side.
I can hear her talking like, don't go over there and waste all your money on a female, bro. But go over there, have fun, but don't waste all your money on a female. I mean, I can see talks like that, but outright just shaming a motherfucker to where, in a sense, he'll feel bound to these damn females here. Hell no.
And then you put in actual dudes that's actually doing that. The PP word, and in the same.
Man, black male travelers are talking his shit about jazz.
Huh?
He was doing that from Colombia. I think he was in Colombia when he was doing it. Yeah. I mean, it's like, dude, you ain't even been out of the United States. Like, are you fucking serious?
That's not what it is, and you can't just focus on the negative stigmas. That's everywhere. There's some beautiful parts about the country also too, and everything that dudes gonna go out there for.
Trick and prostitution, and damn it, hell, that's everywhere. Spain and all that shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So.
Well, they have the Brazil
claim to hang around.
What are you about to say, GC?
No, I was just saying it's here in the U.S. as well. Let's not forget that. And that was
right.
Hey, I don't see anything wrong with it. If you want it, if you want to pay for it, why not?
Yeah, I just rather do it, damn it, with a female, damn it, it's going to be pleasant and fun. And I would look at saying like Trigger. I was saying like spending money and having a good time with a female, damn it, is going to make shit more exciting, damn it, fun. You know what I mean?
Let me tell y'all the scenario. This is what happens. It usually happens a lot of times. And I'm not gonna say there's no sex tourism that goes on, but like I said, the women do it quiet as the kept too. But whatever, that happens. That happens everywhere. That's even in Germany. It's legal. Whatever. I look at that shit like smoking weed, like for real. But what a lot of times what'll happen, let's say you want to, like, you ain't really tricking, but you kind of are. They'll rent a boat where 4 people are going as a group. They'll rent a boat, and a boat is like very, very cheap. And what'll happen, like, cost kind of a cost of living, and you combine your money. And what'll happen is they'll bring a whole bunch of girls out there, and it'll be like a party. But that's some shit you could do out here in Miami. Did you see all this is gonna be more expensive? So this idea, and another thing too, again, dudes don't really care to defend themselves. It's like, who the fuck are you? But the reality is, dudes are not tricking like that. Not like people saying. Not to the extent where it's like, oh, if I know you go overseas, I know that's what you're doing. That's not necessarily the case. And even if they do, a lot of times they may do it the first couple of times, but eventually once they start to get comfortable, they get away because it's the thing. You know how niggas are. Niggas ain't trying to pay for shit if they don't have to. That's why a lot of these hoes here don't like fucking. That's why escorts don't like fucking with black men here. Because black men, they may pay the first time if they do that, but then they're gonna try to find a way to not have to do that by either laying pipe or whatever. So this idea that it's just every nigga that's doing that, that's the only reason, that's what they're justifying in their mind. And what's crazy is, again, you got a dude that says the crazy shit that he says about black women, yet in his mind, he can't even compute why somebody would go overseas. So if for them, and that's another thing, that stereotype that black women, that stereotype that women, black women or whatever are broke. You got to understand the middle class overseas is equivalent to like how much money we have in the middle class in America is a lot larger than what folks think. Everybody ain't poor like that overseas. It ain't like what you think, especially in a lot of the cities. The only difference is they ain't got welfare like that. But these motherfuckers be like, and I'm gonna tell you, I worked in the call center industry. A lot of these people, they got call center jobs overseas. They doing like fucking payroll and all that shit.
It.
Like they got professional degrees.
Gig economy job companies hire people overseas to do their customer service on the phone.
Yes.
You see how many times when I used to work for Uber and stuff, calling customer service, it'd be a damn retarded Filipino worker and everything.
Yeah, because they speak English well. Yeah, and even with the Spanish stuff, you got to remember when it comes to Spanish speakers, because we have a strong Spanish speaking market, that's how you do it overseas too, because there's a whole bunch of people that speak Spanish. That's one of the most spoken languages. So motherfuckers be out. See, it's crazy. Niggas will brag about, I fuck professional women in the United States, all these 92s and shit, they're lawyers and shit. You dumb motherfucker. You think that shit don't happen down there too? You think that shit don't have you? They not making the same kind of money as the women are making here because of cost of living. You think a lot of these chicks ain't got a degree? Like what do you think is going on? And it's like, damn. And look, I know where the places are, but man, please, like I said, man, a lot of them white boys be the ones be hitting that shit up the most. They ain't got the same kind. No, and the Indians be hitting it. The Indians be the main ones hitting that shit up. I'm not saying niggas ain't tricking at all, but niggas don't be hitting that shit up like that.
Motherfuckers be talking like them, like they so poor there. Motherfuckers be talking about like they so poor there in these countries. They're like they're bum rushing niggas to get money out of them and shit. I don't believe that shit.
I mean, not like that. Not like, I mean, they asking for money, but it ain't to the extent that they try to imagine it to be.
You see some like there's some women that's well put together, beautiful, and all that, very submissive, and all that stuff. And some dudes will admit it, yo, man, if I go over there, I ain't coming back. Because you think they want to spend all that money all the damn time like that? Come on. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, the thing about it is when you go to Colombia, you go to some of these countries, and you see like black women. I'm not talking about like the Dominican mixed women. I'm talking about black women. They don't have a lot of these issues. Again, I date those black women. My philosophy is a black man's greatest power is his power of choice. I know Ike knows more than I know. When you go overseas, I know Ike knows more than I know. When you go overseas, there is like a travel class across races. And like even like when you go to the Philippines, there's hotels that cater to the either the Westerners or the people that come from a certain level, because in the Philippines, the water pressure is not strong. So you can't flush the toilet like that. And like a lot of the facilities where you will work, like call center and stuff like that. But you know, Americans ain't gonna do no shit but you can't flush the toilet. So in the damn hotels, that shit is working like it's supposed to. So you'll deal with Australians and all of these motherfuckers, white people, but also minorities got money. So it ain't like what they say. I'm not saying it. It's some hyper poverty, man. Like that, you'll be like, I'm glad I'm in America despite this white supremacy shit. But at the same time, if you're in the cities, a lot of that is under control a lot more than you would think. It's only when you start to get in the outskirts and shit. So it's just the level of ignorance. My thing again is, if you talk about niggas are lame, fine, you're allowed to say that. If you say these niggas ain't got gay, fine, you're allowed to say that. But when you start sitting there and accusing people of that shit, that is something that can blanket all black men. And quite frankly, I'm gonna say this right now. I got respect for Donovan Sharp. I got respect for some of them, a couple of them over there. I ain't got no problem with the other ones. They need to check that shit.
Yeah,
They
man.
need to tell
That's
me,
what I'm saying.
look,
I got respect for
you
Donovan,
gonna
though.
do that,
I look at this as an individual thing, but right quick, 78 likes is that's less than half, brothers. Like, it's 150 people here. Come on now, I need at least 120. Like 78. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's my fault because I haven't been like mentioning it, but I mean, hold me down, please. Dang.
Yeah, I forgot.
No, I
I
know
just hit
it's an
the like button.
individual thing, but what I'm saying is that, like, when you start going into that territory, that's something that can affect all, because that's the one thing. If you saying some black men do it, well, motherfuckers will be like, well, nigga, you black too. And then before you know it, you get like it's crazy, like the type of shit that'll fly out of dudes' mouths when it comes to other black men. Because like I said, these niggas would never say that shit when it comes to anybody else, because they know what time it is.
It's crazy. You talk about like you're against this feminist shit and all that, and then they're talking in a way to where it sounds like, damn it, motherfucker, are you siding with these bitches or not? You know what I mean? Because it sounds like you is by hating on motherfuckers, damn it, that want to travel.
Reason I want black men to travel is because it will inspire black men to be better. A lot of the nigga shit that happens is because niggas stay put. They want you to stay put. What do you think the fucking ghetto is called? It was what they did to the J people to compartmentalize them and keep them from moving, to restrict their freedom of movement before they decided what they want to do. What do they want to do with us? They want to gentrify our ass. And you see that happening in every fucking city. So you traveling, it not only it inspires, I'm talking about outside of the bitches. That's gonna happen. I'm talking about you seeing some, hell, even seeing how the news is covered, looking at the United States from the outside looking in. It is therapy. It helps you in a lot of different ways. And as far as like, it's not, man, anyway, I've made my case. Yeah, I'm basically repeating myself at this point. What's up, Melody? What's up, all y'all? It's been great. It's been great conversation. Hell, even BGS is for women. One of the beautiful things I liked about BGS for women is hearing all the black women with all of the different accents. UK, Caribbean, obviously America, Southern America, a lot of different, and they were all black. It's a beautiful thing. And they just shit on that with some, it's like a fucking monkey taking your hand and smearing it on shit because you ain't got nothing to stand on, talking about better. I mean, like, that shit is like, that's some low IQ shit, man. I'm gonna say it for real. Anyway, all right.
Yeah, BGS thing like that. I wanna point out, like, because you mentioned Jabril, and he's the one that got me first interested in Colombia, in particular.
Who did? What's this dude's channel?
I don't know his channel.
Go to type in Passport Heavy in YouTube. You're welcome.
So
you'll love the video.
Yeah, I came across his channel, and he's a real dark-skinned black dude, and he said that when he's in Thailand, he said Thailand is his favorite place to go, and Colombia is his second favorite. And he said that people call him Chocolate Man, so I just called him Chocolate Man. But I know who Edward was talking about, and the thing about him is, and this is why I want to break this down more tomorrow. He's not on some, these are my bitches type thing. He's out there actually living his life. So I'm trying to figure out.
That's good shit.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, is this a straw man that they're creating about guys just showing off women that they pay for sex, or is this a real person?
It is a straw man because niggas ain't doing that to the extent that they saying. That's another thing too. That little bragging argument. Whenever I ask somebody to give me evidence of that shit, I'm talking about like you got a week. Go get it. I want to see the links. They can never do it.
Well, yeah.
They can never, because I'm in the groups.
So yeah, I'm not in the groups, but I just assumed that that's something that would have came across my desk by now. Like, because I know Russell doesn't do it. You know, he never
like
does.
Jabril, like the host of like his Passport Heavy is a woman, a mixed woman. Her name is
GC, and
owned
to be
by
clear,
Fed.
you're talking about the guys opposite of this dude that put you on the Columbia.
No, I'm talking about as far as brothers that travel. I don't see the straw man that they paint. I don't see the guy who's making these long streams bragging about the women he paid $40 to fuck.
Right, yeah,
They would have did reaction videos by now if those videos were existing like that. You know they would have.
Exactly.
Clowning.
And not even Jap and Solo. Like it would have been done by, you know, like Sly, like the people like that would have done it a long time ago. That's what I'm saying. It would have came across my desk by now.
You remember YouTube called Ask Nathaniel?
And that part needs to get brought up everywhere, though. Damn it! Just so that part right there could shut that shit down right there. Damn it! All you bastards talking all this shit. Where are the videos? Where are the videos? Damn it! Where are the reaction videos?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? To these
they don't
dudes
matter.
tricking and shit.
You remember
that don't matter. That's when they start acting like black women. It don't matter. They just say
Yeah,
it.
I
They say,
remember.
"Damn you, what you gonna do about it?"
What you say,
like
Edward? Would you say, Edward? I'm subscribed to your ass too. What'd you say? You
I
said they
said
go
showing
start.
them evidence, telling them to show evidence don't matter. They've already seeded that shit.
You said they gonna start acting like black women.
Well, you know they already seeded it. It's the same shit with like Steve Beginning. Think about it. It was the same shit. Think about it. Marcus had that video on Steve like 3 years ago. Like Marcus A. Brown. That shit goes back to 2017, 18. And then everybody still fucked with Steve, knowing the type of person he was. And then now, I don't know why he just had this itch to tell everybody they need to deal with stepfathers, be stepdaddies, and all this other bullshit. And then now people are just not figuring out this nigga's full of shit. But he was getting he's got some good talking points passed. I mean, look, I'm not against all game dudes. My favorite dude is Glenn and Cameron myself. I'm subscribed to Charisma and Command, which is more social skills. I'm not against game. But what I am against is motherfucker. And see, technically, Jab don't even sell game. That's what makes it crazy. He don't even sell that. So it's like, what? Like you're trying to find what is it about this shit tactically as to why you would go out of your way to do that? Because for a while, Jab actually said, "I'm gonna just do some. I agree to disagree with it. I don't agree with it. I'm gonna leave it alone." But see, the thing is, a lot of dudes be telling him about that shit. Because you got to remember, a lot of the crypto guys and a lot of the forex trading guys, a lot of them talk about going overseas as a lifestyle too. So what happens is a lot of these niggas get mad. But see, I can understand if you got a kid and you got child support and you can't leave. I get that. I empathize with that. But that's not even Jap's situation either. So I'm like, nigga, why are you mad? It's like, are you really that mad? Because you talk about niggas don't want to get this game? Nigga, is that your religion? Like you sound like some like it's like somebody this like you worse than like somebody that's like Arabic or this Muslim and they see a woman this not this Muslim this like Muslim or ethnic that's like living a liberal lifestyle. You're getting that upset. I at least understand that because that's his religion. But damn, like they get that mad. Like these niggas going overseas.
Yeah, right. Like...
they need to get this game, goddammit. How can they say no to the game? Like, you know, these niggas, when they get mad about gay people and they be like, how could you not like pussy? Which
basically, hence,
how could you not like game?
Hence to what you were saying about them acting like, you know, angry black women.
Times a day.
So, right quick, Ray, I want to say this. Listen, at least 60 of y'all haven't hit nothing. Like, and what I want is 30 to hit the like button. I want half of y'all that's listening right now to hit the like button, please.
Yeah, I went back and hit the like button myself.
I greatly appreciate it. All right,
You
go ahead.
niggas better go on y'all troll, go on y'all
YouTuber,
troll accounts.
Y'all remember this YouTuber called Ask Nathaniel?
That name sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Remember he was
Yep,
making
dude.
Yeah.
He was one. I think he was. I don't know if I would say. I think I think Solo or O'Shea mentioned like he was one of the first guys though to the movement, to the Redpill movement.
Oh, Ask Nathaniel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Don't y'all know about him and everything? Yeah, I think he's probably living in Jersey or Staten Island, New York. But
I don't know all
but,
these niggas.
yeah, but with his stuff, yeah, I remember his videos. He tend to try to promote dudes that mostly about you don't have to go overseas. You can go over here to meet beautiful women of all ages. Mostly, like across the Latino community and everything. But I remember he making videos when he was shaming dudes for going overseas and everything too, like that. Yeah, like
Nigga, it's not
damn.
I hear
Damn. He was doing that too. Damn.
Yeah, it's been since the beginning, dude. Nobody's selling. No, I'm not talking to you personally. I'm just talking to like the concept of dude.
Oh no,
right.
Nobody is selling. Nobody is making. Let me be very clear here. Nobody's making money off niggas going overseas. Like this, there's no nobody. There's no hustle here. This is an option, and this is something to work towards. Getting a passport is like a rite of passage. First of all, if you got a passport, you got a strong piece of identification. So there's actually other uses for it. But going overseas for an experience, like think about it. Think about how many of these dudes. This is why I would say to ask them things. How many of these dudes? We just had a dude talking about going on fantastic shit, talking about he want to be dead and shit. Like,
yeah,
for real.
I remember that.
We like so, and then people want to talk about the mental health stuff, and you ain't giving no. Think about it. Sly was saying it. You ain't giving these niggas nothing to aspire to. All you saying is these women ain't shit. That's bullshit. Because yes, we do.
Right.
Yes, we do. And so the stuff we give them to aspire to is something to work towards. Is something that y'all shit on. And a lot of the depression and stuff that happens is motherfuckers that they haven't seen shit. And I'm telling you, looking at shit on TV is not as real as seeing it in person. It's actually a little bit more real if you see it on social media because at least you're experiencing it through the eyes of somebody else. So you can kind of resonate with that a little bit more. But it's not the same as kind of seeing it. And shit, fuck going overseas. Go to another fucking city. Get out of your state. I don't give a fuck. These Hispanics got the mega bus. What's your fucking excuse? Go to Puerto Rico. You can do that if you can't get a passport. Fuck a cruise, because these cruises don't know what they're doing. My thing is go somewhere. Fuck going to Miami, because every motherfucker goes there. Like go somewhere, like experience something. I don't give a fuck if it's outside the United States. We're telling you what our experiences are because we care. We care about other. It ain't like we saying, "Oh man, for this Patreon gate." You like think about it. Think about this.
I'm a believer in exploring the world.
Shit. I'm not hating on no Patreon dudes. You can have your Patreon, but I just want you to know, most of these dudes that are in the passport industry ain't saying, "Yeah, man, to get these real pictures, you want to check out my OnlyFans, or you gonna have to check out my Patreon and pay a pay gate." But all these niggas talking shit got Patreons. Yeah, man. They took out my shit, yo. They flagged my shit down. You want to get this work? Pay $5 for my Patreon.
Exactly.
Yeah. So so just like there's no money in natural hair, so they use terms like nappy and stuff like that to Black women. There's no money for anybody in natural hair. There's billions of dollars in selling women weaves and chemicals and hot presses and glues and sewing stuff and cement mixers and whatever the fuck they put. But there's no money in natural hair, so they're not going to promote that lifestyle. They're going to shame you out of that lifestyle. But the people who want you to have your own free natural hair, they're not going to. They're actually on your side. I'm on your side. I don't get paid. Nobody's paying me to tell y'all. And y'all know when I talk about my travels, I'm not even like mentioning like the girls and shit, like I do in response to like when people bring up the stove thing. But
I would want to go for the full experience, man, like for just experience the whole culture in itself, you know what I mean? Not just for the women though, you know what I mean? Hell, they there, but like
Passport Kings is a great YouTube channel too, by the way. Shout out to Rockland.
Passport Kings. Yeah, I only heard of the Black Man's Travels group that's on Facebook, but yeah, I
Oh
ain't heard of
man,
no
like
others.
I gotta tell y'all, and I'll forward this to GameChanger, man. I gotta forward y'all some links, man. I can give y'all like 100 links as far as YouTube channels, Facebook groups, websites. There's a website I got this from white boys called IOnlyFlyFirstClass.com, because there's also an industry where you can use credit cards and points. That's why a lot of these white boys be getting these. So there's a lot of different vectors for this shit, man. So if your credit is good, like there's a lot of different angles, man.
It's just increasing
I
my
ain't gonna lie.
every time. Every time I see those
What?
videos, though, y'all, like Edward and shit, man, it just makes me want to strive even stronger, man. Like, you know, to get this shit done, I need to get done here, you know, before I can travel. You know what I mean? Because, man, I just can't wait, and it's awesome too, man, to see all y'all brothers, GC, everybody, you know, all you guys able to travel and shit. It's just awesome, man. It's good shit.
Yeah. What I'm gonna tell you when I might go do the jab, like straight up, what I might do the jab, and this gonna be down the road, but I might get a ticket and say, nigga, I'll go fund. I bet you scared. I'll pay for your trip. No, I'm dead ass serious. I'll pay for your trip. I'll put up $2,000. So here's the ticket. Here's this. Here's that. Let's see why the fuck you ain't leaving. Like, because somebody like, look, I actually like Jab. This is the only issue that I have with him, and it ain't just him. That's why it's really pissing me off. Because I've seen some dude like Jason has done it in the past. Superside will take his shots, even though it ain't him this time. These niggas, it's like these niggas that it's like, and the truth is, the passport shit can has a potential to grow like gangbusters. Because the thing about the passport thing is, a lot of these dudes need to know how to make money in order to be overseas, and that's when kind of like the internet lifestyle comes into play. That's when you start bringing crypto in there. Shout out to Male Enlightenment. That's when the Forex trading starts to happen, because this is why a lot of black men are into Forex and into crypto. A lot of this is rotated around ways to fund like sustainably being overseas. And it ain't just about the women. See, the women are actually not the biggest draw to being overseas. The biggest draw to being overseas is the fact that you're not getting fucked with like that as a black man. Like this aura of, and that's one thing that Jabril does a good job at communicating in Minority Nomad. This idea that you're just a person and you don't know how that feels until you actually leave. Like for me personally, because I'm a shorter individual, like you gotta understand the look that I have is a very like average, like if you put all the human beings together, it's a very average look. So outside of like Europe, because Europe is taller and it's white, obviously. Anywhere else, Latin America, Asia.
What are you, 6 foot?
Hell no, I ain't 6 foot. I'm 5'5".
I'm 6 foot.
You 5'5".
Yeah, I'm
and in fact, I went with dudes. I went with dudes that are 6 foot. I can tell you, like GameChanger take his ass to Asia. GameChanger, they're gonna think. I swear to God, anybody that's like 6 foot and over, they think is a basketball player. And Filipinos can actually play basketball.
The kids thought that I was, and I get what you're saying. There is an exotic factor, and it is a slight thrill. It didn't really translate to sex, at least I don't think it did. But for me, you know, there were girls there like you know, can you take a picture for my Facebook just on nothing? So you know, there is like a celebrity feeling that you get with that. You know?
Yeah, I forgot about that too, because I didn't have to lean on that because I didn't lean on that. But yeah, if you're like that, yeah, man, you do stick out.
Bro,
and that's another
I really
thing.
just meditate. I really just meditate on what you just said.
Hold on, Ray. Go for it, Edward.
No, I'm just saying, like, so when people be like, oh man, they like you for this or that. No, that novelty shit is real. Like it is, because you got to remember, Europe and America are like the tallest countries. Like really is what Northern Europe, like Norway and all of that, Sweden, that's the tallest. And then America's up there, and then Europe, because white people, black, you know, well, Africa obviously too. I forgot about it, my bad. But you get what I'm so when you go in like Asia and Latin America, it's a different dynamic. So it ain't that many people up there like above 6 feet and shit. So it's little, then you got the colorist angle too. Because if you're a light-skinned dude, then, you know, because how they are in the hierarchy is different. They didn't have a one-drop rule. So I'm not saying that this is why you should go. I'm just saying the game rules are a little bit different. And by the way, I'm not saying like dark-skinned dudes don't, like Jabril will tell you, that's not a problem for anybody. So it's just, these niggas are talking about shit they don't know, and you got motherfuckers that they predate the manosphere when it comes to being in this passport shit. So I wish this nigga would just have an open and honest debate with somebody rather than just talking shit from the safety of his platform. Because that's what the bitches do. That's what Johnny Red and them
I
did.
mean, I was just thinking, man, that'd be awesome, dude, to be in a land where motherfucking females, dude, ain't gonna turn their nose up at you, shit, not all stuck up, man, just polite and just fun to be around, man. Like that's where it is, man.
Because they don't have the same thing about you don't build shit. You got to remember, as a black man in America, you start off at like -3. This is why you got to be 6 foot. You got to be that nigga because that's what brings you back to zero. That's why you have to have game here because that's what brings you to zero. A lot of non-black women, although they're westernized, they're not looking at you from a you're subhuman standpoint or you're only a utility standpoint necessarily. Now, when you go overseas, it's the same thing. Those women, because remember, there was more slaves in Latin America than it was in North America. The least amount of slaves came to North America. So the thing about it is their culture evolved differently. So whether it's Colombia, Brazil, there's black. And when I say black, I'm talking about blacker than our ass. I'm not talking about black like Dominican, light skin, New York shit. I'm talking about black. The Dominican light skin shit, that's actually something above that, actually. So my point is they're not looking at you like that. They're not looking at you from what they daddy did to them or what the color purple. So even if they tell you no, it's just gonna be a much more pleasant experience. And that's what Frustrated was talking about. Like you can actually have a conversation with these people, not even fuck them, and feel like that was a pleasant experience. Versus you pay to take you pay for these bitches to be in front of their phone. And I'm not saying that I don't get women here. I'm not saying that. I get women here. My thing is not about running away. My thing is, as a man, if you are aware of what your choices are, you will carry an actually different posture here. If you go overseas and you like, man, I fucked a badass bitch, so I know it ain't that I'm lame.
Point blank,
bitch, you actually carry a different energy.
Yeah, point blank, damn it, ain't nobody gonna make me feel bound to anywhere. My Lord said, "Live abundantly." Damn it.
Yeah. And have something to work for. You got niggas talking about I didn't realize I lived past 30 or 25 and shit. Like for real. But these niggas never speak on that. The only thing they need to say is, well, nigga, you need to go ahead and get laced with some game. Nigga, what the fuck does that mean? Do you have a fucking book? The fucking like shit, you have something? Like the fuck are you talking about? That's like a pastor said we need to get one with Jesus. Nigga, I was talking about this math test. What the fuck are you talking about? Anyway.
Yeah, it's the measuring stick of masculinity that they feel most comfortable with. And it's they can't get around that. They don't want to be measured by the same metrics of masculinity as other groups of men. And that's why, and really what women like Cynthia G is doing is they're using that against black men, like this whole beta male, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. She's measuring you against us on a stick that you don't want to be measured on, that black men collectively don't want to be measured on. Black men collectively don't want to be measured on their intellectual, academic, or economic prowess. They want to be measured on something as nebulous or as fluid as game. Now the problem, and the women want to push you in that regard. Make no mistake, when she says stuff like beta male, coon, conquered, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that's the
maybe she's paying. Maybe she's the one paying these motherfucking dudes to say this shit, man.
No, they're being manipulated by her. They're being pushed into that way of thinking by her, and the reason is because I'll save that for tomorrow. But they're being pushed into that way of thinking by women like that. It's part of an overall manipulation.
Totally agree.
Yeah. So yeah, just fellas, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. What do you mean there's no collective? You got to elaborate on that. But yeah, I mean, in my travels in the Philippines, yeah, that what Edward was talking about, it was a good feeling. Not just the height thing, but just the attention, like, you know. And it wasn't like I was a star or anything like that. Like I get off the thing and everybody just look. But every now and again, you know, something like that will happen, and you know, kid to say, "Are you a basketball player?" or something like that. So somebody told me, this is weird. Somebody told me that they don't have chocolate there like that, or chocolate is real expensive. So when I went, it was in October, and they had like a bunch of candy anyway.
What place you talking about?
I'm talking about the Philippines.
Philippines. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's like, have some chocolate out, and the girls will just love you because you got chocolate, and you know, keep it in your pocket and stuff, and you know. But it wasn't like that. It was just a trip. I was just a nigga walking around with a bunch of chocolate in my pocket. But
I was told they some chocolate lovers in Germany, that they make some good ass chocolate and shit.
Oh yeah. I'm sure they do. Well, that's where Hershey and stuff started. So that's kind of like, you know, that Mercedes, that's like one of their major exports. You know,
Didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, that's what they're known for. Yeah, Hershey, that's a German company. And it's older than World War II.
Hey, good shit. I got on this motherfucker and learned some shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you know, that's what I'm here for. Only wolves are alpha and beta. Yeah, that is an animal thing. And the problem with alpha thinking, as it applies to humans, go for it.
Yeah, the whole alpha male, beta male thing is like the wolf. You know, they only mate with the alpha female and stuff. So it doesn't really apply to like humans. Humans don't really operate like wolves and stuff. So like and it's like nobody says that in these other countries. They're like, oh, what's they don't even know what the hell a beta male is or alpha male or none of that. Huh?
Yeah.
Nobody in Africa says that, oh, he's the alpha male. He's about if you go to Africa, you don't know nothing. What the hell you talking about? Huh? You don't need game or any of that type of stuff. You just you be a man. Just being a man and just in your character and basically
you gotta tighten your game, nigga.
Yeah, man. Like you said, all that game stuff is based off pimp hole culture. So in America, so that's where all that shit come from,
Right.
Game changer. Talking about he game changer that, but shit, he need to get his game tight.
Hey, well, I mean, y'all seen what happened the last time somebody tried to question my game. So it's not really a matter of that. It's and I did that to prove a point. Y'all know what I'm talking about with Steve the Dean.
Yeah, man, and it's just
I seen that video, GameChanger. Or I just recently seen it like yesterday, Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I kind of agree with Steve on point when he was with Jessica. Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Jessica, I kind of have to disagree with you on that. That's how I catch her. I might get on about that. Like, man, God don't need to take you out to spend money on you to feed you to get to know you. Yeah, and number two, just because he suggests coffee or tea or cocoa, just go for the experience. Like, I mean, he shouldn't assume that this is what you like, because technically, if a man asks you out, he's going to lead the date. You got to come and follow. You agree with him, you follow his lead, and trust that you're gonna have a good time no matter where you go, the way he takes you. If you don't like him afterwards, then hey, that's it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why I made it a point not to mention any place when I was speaking to Kat, on my thing. But the reason why I went up there to do that was, for one, I always challenge these dudes because I know what it is, and I know what the mating environment is. And even though I'm not that dude that just go out and talk to 100 chicks, I'm pretty, But the reason why I challenge all these dudes like that, because what they're doing is they're creating straw men. So I say, well, let's go against a real person and you know, let's actually see it at work. And yeah, he gave me an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, you know, the whole thing is this. You know what I'm saying? Telling you, some dudes actually like this, going to dinner, spend a whole dinner on the woman also too, and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he probably just want her company also, like, you know, and the investment. Yeah, like, you know, don't shame dude, you know, but that was his intentions. Yeah, like, you know, but yeah, don't like I said, tell some females, tell some dudes, don't come with a high expectation. That's the whole thing, because it might ruin your experience. I give you an example of that, like, you know, are y'all familiar with the show WandaVision?
Yeah,
y'all seen the last episode, you know. And
well, don't spoil it.
Yeah. Don't spoil it because I ain't seen none of that shit
yeah,
yet.
you got people that complain and everything, but the problem is, my beef with
Nigga,
them is you putting a
I'm
high
trying to get done with
expectation.
Agents of Shield. Shit.
Yeah, you putting so much of high expectation on something that this is what you want it to be and stuff. It's not going to be that way like that. You know what I'm saying? That's what some women do also too. Like, they expect us to be mind readers and how they give an idea. Like the other girl that was next to Melanie, she was giving her own. I try to give advice on what to do, how to take a woman on a date and everything. I'm like, you telling from your point of view, and technically we don't care from your point of view. Just enjoy the date. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know, if I'm at you out, doesn't matter where we're going. Don't put your high expectation. Just having trust that I'm not a crazy dude, and enjoy my time. And if you don't want to see me afterwards, then hey, technically, yeah, I don't want to. I'm glad I didn't spend a lot of money and stuff, and I just want to see you again. That's the risk I took. Hey, no cry with spilled milk. If that's the whole point Steve was definitely trying to make. Like, I gave you an opportunity, a fair shot. I took my fair shot, so I can't have regrets about it. If I meet a woman, I ain't gonna have no regrets because I went and put it in my bed. And if she doesn't accept it, oh well.
Yeah. No, I actually agree with Steve on the dinner date thing for a number of reasons, but I don't agree with what he's doing, because he was working under the assumption that he's starting off at a higher place than other people. Like, and basically he shot a shot and got rejected. Men who look for dating coaches are looking for ways to get accepted, not rejected. Men are getting rejected, and they are more or less, you know, they just take it on the chin. Like, okay, this is what I do. What they want to do is not get rejected. He's not really solving that problem. Like, I can get a basketball. Like, I know how not to put a basketball in the basket. I know how not to do it. However, if I get a coach, I would hope that he's telling me how to do it. Like, how to put the ball in the hoop. But that's not what he's doing. He's basically
that's why I don't like the Curry stuff a little more, because he doesn't give men 100% guaranteed hope. And mostly part of his coaching, he teaches men how to handle rejection.
Yeah,
and a lot of dudes need to be teaching, because you know, a lot of dudes don't know how to handle rejection. They get rejected, but sometimes they don't know how to handle it. And you got to realize, you know what I'm saying, a woman's choice is to say yes or no. And even if she come at you nasty or good and everything, it ain't gonna hurt you that much. Just walk away.
The point is that guys would like to know, and this isn't what even though they're presenting this isn't what the dating coaches are actually selling. They're selling comfort in the rejection that you already received. You know, it's kind of like there was an episode of Married with Children.
Yeah.
And Al was dealing with the fact that he was going bald. It's like, oh, I'm going bald. I got to deal with it. So he joins this hair club with Steve.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out that it wasn't a hair club where there's science and technology that make your hair regrow. It was just a bunch of bald guys making themselves more comfortable with the fact that they're bald. They're not there. They didn't want to sign up for a support group. He actually want to cure baldness. Like, so, and that's what's being presented. So it's that's one of the things there's a lot of things I have a problem about with Steve, but I'm not going to get into. I want to address.
I understand your point of view. There's times I kind of sometimes feel like Steve be going way overboard. Like, you know, even when it may sound like we agreeing with him, he'll try to find a way to nitpick it to make it sound like his point of view is more high or something like that. And I'm like, that's some weird shit you keep constantly doing. That's why they technically booted him.
I can't stand when anybody do that shit. I'll be like, nigga, nobody's sitting on a damn pyramid talking about come to me with all knowledge. Fuck everybody else. I can't stand that kind of mentality, man.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the reasons why Donovan actually booted
Like,
him
who
off
made you
the
Grand
7.
Wizard, motherfucker?
Exactly. Like I remember on my Facebook page when I posted that Kevin Samuels video, he was on my on weights and dates, and Steve actually DM'd me privately in my DM on Facebook, like someone don't believe in false prophets, blah blah blah. I had to respond to him like, okay, you hating on Kevin Samuels now? Like, come on, man. Like, we have a little beef situation you got now. You hating on him like that? Like, come on. You got sometimes your own actions. You know what I'm saying? Get you where you at. Like, your way's not always the only way. I remember that video. Alonzo Curry had to make a video getting on Steve and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, like you teaching dudes do all this romance, blah blah blah, but they wasting time. Like, like you don't need to do no over the top romance like that for a woman. Like, come on. What's the old saying? Less is more. Like, yeah. Yeah.
Ike, I want to ask you, if you're still there, Ike, why do other West Africans, Nigerians seem to have like a bad reputation? Like,
this seems like an interesting question.
Well, they say stuff like, he's a Nigerian, but you can trust him. They say shit like that. What's up with that? What do y'all do there that it seems like other Africans don't trust y'all like that? So if you could just like put in a quick sentence, I'm kind of curious about that because I get that from time to time. Like, yes, he's Nigerian, but he's cool. Like, I mean, it seems okay. Put it like this. I'm not gonna say it, but yeah, if you could explain why that is, what's going on between Nigeria and other West African countries, like what's the dynamic there, then I'm curious. But continue, fellas. Hello, y'all don't have anything?
Oh no, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah. But a lot of the guys who travel, they that I see are really just living their best lives.
No, like, yeah, I mean, and just how the way Solo was coming at you too, man. He was like, oh man, call you names, you know what I mean? And then because you checked him, he was like, hey man, now we're name calling, man, come on now. And you was sitting there trying to have a civil, and he was just trying to be all like all erratic and shit, like a fucking female, man, like spazzing out there and like, what the hell, man? What's wrong with you? Like, you bipolar, man? Like,
yeah, I'm starting to think that was Solo. Like, damn, like they kind of like, it kind of acting.
Because he came back with them damn apology videos before a couple of times though, man, on shit. Certain shit that was, hell was wrong. Just, oh, okay, you know what I mean? And rock with him and shit. But this one though, man, I'm like, I don't know, man. Just how he handled all that, and plus two, talking about brothers that are traveling, and something that damn it that I want to do and that I am going to do. You know what I mean? And because it's in me, I believe in motherfuckers should be an explorer. You know what I mean? Hell, explore this world, motherfucker. You only got one life. Why not?
My thing is, traveling.
Why feel bound? You know what I mean?
My thing is traveling to different countries and everything actually helps you game even more. Because when you move over here,
which is part of networking, right?
Different cultures, you got
right,
more
GC?
than a lot of dudes because they want to learn from you. Well, this is dude that's multicultural and stuff. One day, they get into a relationship. She got a tour guide. I've been here plenty of times before. Let's go, me and you go together. You know what I'm saying? I know the areas already. Phew. Boom.
Well, I can about what Mel was saying, and I think that this is what you were asking, Ray. Me, as far as helping your game, I can see how it can help with your. First of all, it helps you to raise your bar. That's one thing, and that's very important. It helps you to raise your bar, and there is a certain confidence that can be gained. Yeah, there is a certain confidence that can be gained knowing that you have access to attractive women. So I can see that making a man more confident being that. And in the case that for guys who pay for sex, there is the whole thrill of I can have sex with a beautiful woman anytime I want to. as long as I have
maybe these
$40.
dudes though, maybe these dudes though are slick hating though, especially the ones that are in relationships with chicks or / married. Yeah, maybe they're slick hating because they know that there are better looking females overseas and shit. You know what I mean? That men have access to and shit. So maybe they slick hating because they feel bound them damn selves.
Yeah, no, that's true too. Like a lot of guys
Yeah.
are married to overweight, overbearing, women that are and they have kids. No, they're stuck in this situation.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen that.
Yeah, a lot of them settle.
Yeah, and had I married in the 90s, I would be too, because the concept of traveling didn't even occur to me then.
Exactly.
So, well, I shouldn't say I wouldn't, because I didn't really mess with that type of woman. But I'm just saying, like, these guys who found themselves in that situation, it's kind of like too late for them to go back. They can't put the toothpaste back in the tube at that point. So yeah. So okay, I get it. So yeah, they're the New York of. I get it. Makes sense.
Definitely, you travel overseas, you be more well-rounded. That's like me in New York. I tell some young dudes, you know what? Go to certain bars or places that's outside your neighborhood. Like go to different museums, go different, different bars or restaurants, so you can expand your horizon and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Make you more a little well-rounded, learn about different cultures. Because when you meet that'll help you game with women even more. That way too. When you meet females, you got something more to talk about because you travel to different spots and stuff, not just outside the hood. Like women love men that's multicultural and stuff, and like to go different places. Mm-hmm. You got the ability to show things that she never seen before, and she might be well open-minded to see it.
Yeah,
and one thing that I was talking about too, like the more and higher possibilities of networking. You know what I mean, with more people. You know what I mean, versus just being bound to networking with people in America. You're gonna think you as an explorer. You know what I mean? Hell, you feel like you want to travel to different countries. And so you go to five countries, you know what I mean? You got like a decent amount of cool people, you know what I mean, that you're cool with and shit. And hey, and all those people you're cool with, you develop a bunch of networks, you know what I mean, which hey, more streams of a currency, boys, the better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely something that I would like to see more brothers explore, is making money, helping developing countries develop. And I was thinking about doing that, creating apps that are common here, DoorDash, what's that called?
Weeds, Postmates.
Stuff like that. Just things that we've grown accustomed to here. Bringing it over there because the infrastructure isn't really quite set up for that. However, everybody has phones there, so there's a lot of money to be made there.
And also too, you can attest to this too, GC, since you traveled. You know what I mean? That there's cool people over there, man. Guys and dudes over there that are so cool to where like you get cool with them and shit. You know what I mean? They give you the layout and the watch outs of shit. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, that's what I do most of and people know I've said it all the time on this channel.
Like give you good tips of shit. Like, watch out for this and hey, you can expect this to happen. Yeah.
Oh, well, brother, if you could hop back on, because I want to get your point of view. I know we were kind of winded, but if you got back on, I'll give you the mic. But what was I saying? Well, people know that when I travel, what I like to do wherever I go is I like to walk the beach, and I like to just get a quick game of dominoes or chess. And that's most anywhere I go. Like there's always going to be somebody out. And to be honest, that's how I'm going to retire. Those guys in San Francisco that be on that Bobby Fischer shit, that'll be me. That's how
We're sitting there playing chess and shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like not Bobby Fischer. Oh, fresh. Like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm be in San Francisco at one of those tables and just chill there, wait for a challenger. I mean, that's my definition of enjoyment.
Yeah.
So
I got you.
Oh yeah, Bay Blogger News. Yeah, so he's in San Francisco. You know what I'm talking about. You know the people I'm talking about. Yeah, that'll be me when I'm retired. Shit, like
that produces its own peace and solitude in itself.
well, yeah,
right there.
true. And I was saying that to say that I meet cool people. I meet cool foreign people doing that. Just doing that, you know.
Hell, I want to learn shogi though.
Who?
Shogi. I was told it's like it's kind of like, I think it's the chess of Japanese chess or something like that.
Well, I never played Chinese or Japanese chess. I've only played American and Chinese checkers.
Because from what I've seen, it kind of look interesting though. Oh fuck yeah!
Yeah, I do too. I want to see that Cherry Blossom Festival that everybody tells me about, and this one dude,
yeah. Stuff.
Well, not. I mean, I want to see not the festival or whatever, but apparently annually they have these. Because out here our blossoms are white for most things that grow. Our blossoms are white, but apparently there's a red, cherry red, and they shed like at the same time and like throughout the forest or whatnot. So I want to see that too. But also just the culture, like this person was showing his vacation slides and he was talking, like he showed like a huge crowd of people, maybe like 100 people on every corner, just waiting at a stoplight, and there was no cars passing, and they refused to jaywalk. Like they just stood there and waited. Nobody crossed illegally until the light turned green. I was like, oh man, that's a lot of discipline. And also they don't, and y'all probably hear it when I do streams on Mondays. They don't have that. They don't have like lawn service where some annoying ass lawnmower person comes along and messes up your entire train of thought. Like they respect silence and self-conscious, self thought so much that they use regular tools. They use the old-timey push lawnmowers that's not motorized. So yeah, I dig stuff like that. Like little stuff like that, I dig it. Y'all there? Yeah, they got the old school.
Yeah, I hear you.
So imagine waking up, because I'm pretty sure everybody has like a housing association, or I'm pretty somebody does the lawn wherever you live. And if it's not you, it's the neighbors or something like that. But somebody's doing the lawn, and you don't want to hear that shit. So imagine just waking up and the lawn is done and the hedges are trimmed and stuff, and you didn't hear a thing, like they're ninjas or something like that. See, stuff like
well, where do they do that at?
They do that in Japan. See, they don't use the regular lawnmower. They use the push, the old timey push lawnmowers. They don't use motorized tools, is what I'm getting at.
Okay.
So yeah, this dude I used to work with, he took a trip to Japan and he showed me that. And yeah, somebody's sleeping. I think that's Jay. Yeah. Anyway,
who's that? Melody?
Well, Melody's on mute, but yeah. So it's stuff like that. It's like little stuff like that about cultures that really interests me. However, if in addition to that, you see yourself a hooker and you want to fuck her, then by all means do so. I'm not going to judge you. What the fuck?
Hey, right. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm like, have fun, man. You know what I mean? But be safe. You know what I mean? Hey, that's how the message should be, Anything else is just hate to where, like, you sound no different than the feminists.
Because in some cases, this is when I actually have to tell them, you might better off just tricking and stuff like that. Because she gets what she want. Get what you want. And stuff.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And
especially a lot of these rich dudes.
And that's what basically Solo was saying about GC.
Yeah,
like you know what I mean, with the whole stove thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When he brought that up. So
yeah, so I was just, and I'm not gonna harp on it because that's what the stream is about. It's supposed to be a quick one. I'm not gonna harp on it, but I was taken back, like, hey, shit was just cool just a week ago. What did Jay-Z say? Shit was all good just a week ago. Like, it was all good a week ago. What the fuck is up with this? Like,
Switch on you like that. I mean, you got some bipolar issues, man. Son.
Well, I mean, it definitely means that he takes this to passion. And I could get why a person, a traveler who actually does buy hookers, I can get why he would be defensive of something like that, because you're actually attacking his lifestyle, saying, that he's weird, loser, pervert, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You're calling him out. So I can understand why he would get defensive. I don't understand why you would get defensive and attack someone like, so harshly. That's where I was a little taken back. So, he says, GC, don't miss the cherry blossoms in Golden Gate Park. They should be blooming soon. I didn't actually know that they had one there. I haven't been in Golden Gate Park in a while.
But yeah, I want to go to Japan too, man. Like, and get in their concerts and shit like that they be having, especially like their anime music concerts.
Technology stuff like that, yeah.
Like all those different artists and stuff, man. You know what I mean? So it's just, man, and there's just a whole bunch of other shit out there in the world, man, that are fascinating and cool, man. To explore and discover and shit.
Exactly.
And it's just, man, like, ain't nothing that's high and therapeutic, than that, so like, you can't get any therapeutic than that right there, especially pleasant women too, man. Pleasant women around you, man, will give you a back massage, foot rub, cook, and nigga.
Yeah, and here's the thing. So everybody has their reasons for traveling, but at the end of the day, it doesn't. Even if your sole purpose to travel somewhere is for sex, I want to have a lot of sex with Japanese women. That's perfectly fine.
Right.
That's a good reason as any. Because I do like sex more than I like looking at cherry blossoms. So I get why you're traveling to do that. Like, I don't. There really shouldn't be pushback on that at all. Or I like having sex with Australian Aborigine woman, or I always wanted to do it Eskimo. Like, for whatever reason you want to hop on a jet and go somewhere, then by all means go. I will never really truly comprehend the shade of it, but I'm gonna do final thoughts now. So let's start with let's start with Mel.
Yeah, like I said, man, just like I tell dudes, man, don't be ashamed of your preferences. Also, too, don't worry about what the dudes say about you when you travel and everything. I say just this. Don't be naive. Don't get got. Just be there with use your smarts and be aware of your surroundings anywhere you go and stuff. But go and have a good time. Definitely on the way also too. And fuck what everybody else says. That's my thing. If you saw a return your investment, then hey, more power to you. Definitely.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mel. Appreciate you.
All right, man. Y'all have a good night, brothers. You too, Miss Melanie.
All right.
All right. Good night, bro.
Melody Love, are you up? Okay, she's asleep. Ray, what's on your mind?
Oh yeah, I kind of figured she was asleep. Oh shoot, yeah, man. Yeah, like Brother Mills said, don't let none of these guys shame you, because it's just shaming tactics, and they're basically identifying themselves to being with, the enemy, which is this feminist group, this feminist agenda, what I mean? And you can't, feed the dog and beat it at the same damn time, what I mean? So, and be yourself, travel, be an explorer, be an adventurer, don't let nobody make you feel bound to any damn thing, So, and you gotta stand on your own 10 toes with your chest out on that shit, saying, I don't give a fuck what you think or you think. This is what I like. This is what I'm gonna do. So, until you do that, you'll never be free. Never be free to explore and witness all the good things this world has to offer. We only got one life. Why spend it bound to just one area? So yeah, that's all I wanted, bro.
Okay, appreciate you. Appreciate you a lot, brother. Okay, and Lion. I think he's going to. Lion going once, going twice. Okay. So with that being said, I want to thank the Cash Apps and Super Chats. I want to thank the managers and moderators. I want to thank those who are listening silently and those who participated in the chat. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. And remember, this is GameChanger 00100. Game over. Peace.
Thanks for having me on.